Oh. Oh. Hey. How's it going? Chat. Ooh. Early. Am I? Feel like this was the latest I've ever been because it's already 7:31. What the fuck? Ooh. Whatever. Let's let's get in. Let's go. Okay. Have you seen Second Thoughts video on the history of the conflict? I think I would rather not watch that. I don't know. Just like he's so it's just going to be the same shit. Where did he even do it? It's not here. Where is it? On his second channel? Oh no, is it because it's more From the River to the Sea, the story behind Palestine's freedom? Do I want to watch this? Do I really want to watch this? Do I give a fuck? 13, 30, 23. Nah, wait. No. Not right now. I feel like we've done a lot of tanky horse shit. I love the biased news. Hey. Because they think all news is biased, right? They think it's all propaganda. Oh god. You'll probably just get triggered. I mean, we've done like 3 Ben Shapiro videos, so maybe it's more proportionate to cover like a left-wing talking head, but who knows? Did you see Dylan Burns and Keffels got called out by the Vanguard guys? Oh no. Why is Israel's allies trustworthy but Palestine's isn't? That's not the variable, right? Palestine's allies are what, like Iran? Fucking, it's not even Palestine, it's like Hamas's allies. It's like Iran, Qatar, Russia. What, because they're authoritarian states that I don't, oh, whatever. The hair has changed. This is wet. I just had a shower. I guess we could watch the I guess we could look at this Dylan Burns Keffels thing. Where's that? So wet right now. Yeah. Oh, is it over the was it over the Vanguard stuff? The Hassan Ukraine stuff? Was it over that? Why is it 2 hours long? Communist podcast defends Hassan from Dylan's new video. Bro, it's a bit I don't need to watch a 2-hour video on that. Fuck. Whose takes are dumber? Second Thought, the Vanguard, or Roger Waters? Roger Waters is probably the dumbest. Then, from what I've seen, probably Second Thought. I don't know though. I don't really pay that much attention to make that kind of judgment across the board. Watch Destiny struggle with European countries. Nah, it's fine. Because I would probably struggle with European countries. Do I want to try that? Probably not now. No, I'm scared. I'm very scared. Ooh. Not European anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would fail at Europe. I have nothing to do with those guys. Fuck them. I wish you two wouldn't stream at the same time. Yeah, well. You mean it would be a good idea if we had a kind of a waiting room system, a rotation system that is not at all a waiting room system. Yeah, obviously. Well, not today. Not this day. Hmm. Let me see. Gaza, Israel. I want to watch some news. Israeli soldiers close in on Gaza City. Panic at hospitals where thousands had taken shelter.
هكذا تبدو صورة الأوضاع داخل قسم
A
الطوارئ
walk
منذ
through the
العشرة
corridors of Al
الكردي.
Shifa,
القسم
a
ممتلئ
nightmarish
تماما
scene of a
بالجرحى
hospital
والمصابين.
collapsing
هنا ندخل إلى
and
داخل
the
القسم.
people
هم
suffering.
يلفظون أنفاسهم الأخيرة بسبب
The critically ill
انهيار
are dying on the
المنظومة
floor,
الصحية
says the
بسبب
doctor
نقص
narrating.
الأدوية بسبب هذا الطفل استشهد بسبب
This child has been martyred, he goes on.
حتى
It seems his older brother is taking his last breaths.
هنا الأمهات الثكلى.
Here are mothers grieving for their sons, he says. All the injured are children.
يعني المشهد هنا صعب للغاية.
Why would get Destiny on who says Palestine deserves to be genocide to get JT on he's cool?
Why, she screams. Pain and fear in a place she hoped would be.
Sorry, that was a bad frame to freeze on. Like, how could JT wants like fucking Israelis to be genocided? It's like just pick your favorite genocide soldier. I feel like I don't know. I feel like you should probably just there's so many people in this conflict, you know, and they're just like, okay, what do we do? Well, one group clearly needs to go. All right, let's start from there. I don't know.
Be safe. The hospital complex was struck multiple times last night and this morning by Israeli forces, according to health officials. Israel claimed on one occasion a misfired Hamas rocket was to blame.
Oh.
But its soldiers are closing in on the center of Gaza City, wreaking huge and terrible devastation, even as the military insists only militants are being targeted. Here, a tank outside the Nasser and Rantis.
Oh yeah, also, I don't think Destiny's ever said he wants Palestinians to be genocided. It's like a fucking badly clipped fucking whatever. Anyway.
Hospitals. Tens of thousands of displaced civilians had flocked to medical centres seeking safety and shelter. Now waving white flags, many are trying to escape. Gunshots ring out, sending them fleeing back inside in terror. Israel alleges Hamas is hiding its underground headquarters beneath Al-Shifa, releasing this video animation. Hamas and local medical staff deny that, but a huge Israeli assault is looming. Death is everywhere in northern Gaza. At least 20 people killed in an Israeli strike on a school where displaced families.
People are taking second thought out of context from a 1 hour episode. Where does he change his mind? Does he say that the people who died were civilians then? Does he ever clarify that? Because if I ask Destiny to clarify in his position, he'll give you like he'll probably just advocate for a two-state solution. That's what he'll go for. He'll advocate to take the settlements out and to give sovereignty to the West Bank and Gaza. If you ask second thought to clarify, what am I gonna? Have you talked to JT? No, I don't think he would ever talk to me. No. The guy blocked me on Twitter once because I quote tweeted him like once with a small challenge to one of his takes. I wasn't mean or anything. I was just like, I just have a question here, and then he blocked me because he's a coward. But well, fucking. He said it on Twitter as well. Yeah. Do I have the screenshot on my Twitter, or is it on someone else's? Where did I put it? I kept it somewhere. Hmm. Hmm. Can you get Beast Process and Destiny to talk? I don't know if Beast can do that. He would get let on if he asked, so that would be no problem. Where was that second thought tweet? Hmm. It's somewhere on my computer, but I'd have to go digging for it. Oh no. Oh well.
Families had been staying. At least 3 others were killed in an Israeli strike on the road used by Palestinians fleeing south. There's a mass exodus. Tens of thousands are on the move. Israel has established what it calls humanitarian corridors. But the people here don't know when they'll be able to come back, or what will be left to come back to. Many had already fled their homes to Al-Shifa, only to now flee again. I can't find my mother, Ayman cries out. I don't know where she is. I don't know where my sister is. We're so tired. No one can understand this pain. Find a solution, he implores. But there's no solution in sight. And you wonder, what kind of future are these babies being dragged towards?
Well, amongst those fleeing northern Gaza are many of the local Palestinian journalists who have been really our only insight into what's going on the ground there, with foreign journalists not allowed to enter into the strip independently. It does seem as if the fighting there is now reaching its most intense, with the Israeli assault intensifying ever more. Israel, for its part, says that it's killed significant numbers of Hamas militants, taken over major outposts. But even Israel's staunchest ally, America, has grown by its standards, increasingly vocal in its criticism, with Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying that far too many Palestinians have been killed. According to the Hamas-controlled Gaza Health Ministry, as you say, around, well, more than...
This was it from Mr. Sunset, our mod. Putting atrocities in quotation marks. This is what liberation struggle looks like. Solidarity and victory. This is when they're doing the attacks on October 7th.
Loner box.
There, look.
Smarmy.
This is when the attacks are just like starting. And then are those occupiers civilians? No. Like, and I don't know why he's talking about like 1948 and acting as if the people who died were the ones who did this. Like the people in the festival were the ones who murdered their neighbors and kicked them out of their homes. It's so gross. Ugh. But I don't know. People will make any kind of excuse for this kind of like anti-human horse shit. I don't know.
11,000 people have now been killed in Gaza. And importantly, whilst the US had initially cast doubt on the veracity of those figures, a senior official has now said that they believe the true death toll could be even higher. One final development to mention quickly. Reports in a number of Israeli media outlets tonight suggesting that there's been major progress on a deal that would see a large number of hostages released. But those reports are based on unnamed sources, and the Israeli army for now is cautioning against them.
Thanks, Secunda. Now, communications in Gaza are very difficult, but a short time ago, we managed to get through for a while by phone to Dr. Mohammed Obeid, a surgeon working for the MSF Doctors Without Borders charity at the Al-Shifa Hospital. I asked him what had been happening.
When we talk about the orthopedic team, we was about 48 surgeons in 2 days. So every day we have 24 surgeons. Now, from the 48, we have just 7.
And what about the patients and the refugees?
Most of the refugees, is about 90%, they run out from the hospital. But
Okay, sorry, we got our first fucking brain damage check of the day. Goodbye, Mr. Swag. Okay.
about the patient, actually, there is a lot of patients which already operated and they cannot walk. They cannot evacuate. They need ambulance to remove them. And we don't have this ambulance to evacuate all of these patients. If you have a family and you have 2 injured or 3 injured from your family, you cannot carry them because they refuse to let you pass by the car. So you must walk.
Israeli officials have been saying that there are Hamas bases, headquarters, or weapons in or around the hospital. Are you aware of any of that?
Actually, we ask anyone to come and to see if there is anything inside. Actually, there is just the patient and just some of the surgeons, not all the team. Yeah.
Are you able to see the Israeli soldiers at all where you are?
No, actually, I cannot see them, but I can see the building which is bombing. It's just around the Shifa hospital. So we hear the sound and we see the smoke around us, but we don't see the soldiers until now.
Is the bombing still going on right now?
Yeah. You don't hear it. Actually, it's very high, but I'm in the office. It's just around us, actually, around the Shifa hospital. They bomb many of the buildings around us.
Are you and your colleagues going to stay and look after the patients who can't?
Actually, we cannot leave. We cannot leave.
Channel 4 is kind of biased, no? Well, their position has basically just been to treat Israel and Hamas as, like, I guess, equally trustworthy or untrustworthy. So it's always like, according to Israel, according to the Gaza ministry, they're always approaching it in that way. I don't think that's necessarily bad, even though you might think that one side is a lot more dishonest than the other. Yeah, I don't know.
Because until now, from the morning until now, we operate.
Obviously, Israel has a much more of a checks and balances system than Hamas does. But again, in war, you're more likely to propagandize than any other time. So yeah, I don't really have much of a problem with the way they're doing it. The hospital explosion was a bad day, but that was a bad day for everyone. Reporting on that.
It's like a 25 patient. If I am not here or the other surgeon not here, who will take care about this patient? We have a problem in this. It's a humanity problem. So I cannot leave and let the injured patient. This is the main problem. It's not about that I am not want to leave. But there is a patient who needs surgery. There is a patient who's already asleep in our department. We cannot evacuate ourselves and get these people inside.
But you are all aware that you may be bombed next.
Maybe what?
You may be bombed next, and yet you're staying.
But this is as a doctor, I swear to help the people which need help.
Israel doesn't do a good job prosecuting the IDF when they commit crimes against Palestine. It's a big source of the anger. Okay, but we're talking about versus Hamas. When Hamas commits war crimes, they come back to Gaza displaying the victims of their war crimes and people cheer. I mean, you're not going to tell me that Hamas is less lenient on war crimes than Israel is. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So if they want to bomb me, I will not be better than the others. We have like...
And I'm afraid that's where we lost the line to Dr. Obaid at that point. He was speaking to me from Al-Shifa Hospital. Earlier, I spoke to Ibrahim Alaga. He is an Irish national who was visiting family members in Gaza and is now trapped in southern Gaza with his wife and 3 children. We spoke to him over a poor internet connection, and so we've used some of the images of the past week to help illustrate his words.
It's very devastating, very difficult, very stressful. We always fear for our lives. We don't know if we will make it or not. My children yesterday, they went sleeping while crying because they were hungry. We didn't have any drinking water for a long time. We don't have any running waters. Diseases are spreading around. My children, they're all catching cold or flu. There's no medicines. Hospitals are all, I mean, the health system is all on its knees now. It's collapsing. Communications is also extremely bad. So all problems from every side.
How close to you is the bombing?
The closest one so far was around 500 meters. But the type of bombs that are dropped are really strong.
Ben Gels, thanks for the $5. Been interested in learning more about Barghouti. Any suggestions on books or articles? There isn't really that. In English, it feels like there isn't that much you can find about him. I don't actually know. If you read anything about the Second Intifada and the Camp David Summit, or that period, they'll usually mention Barghouti. He's got a few Guardian articles, one from 2002, one from 2015. Couple of other ones around. He's got Wikipedia. Yeah, there's really that much to know about him, but I guess he's been in jail for so long. He hasn't really done that much for a while. Teb, thanks for the 1790 shekels. Wow, thank you so much. Lorna Box, the IDF does not get enough, gets not enough praise and too much criticism. Don't forget who brings the daily shekels here. I feel like the IDF gets a good amount of criticism. Could maybe use more, even. Who knows? Huh.
Even if it's a very far away bomb, you feel the house is shaking. We have windows that are broken in our house.
It must be terrifying for the children.
Absolutely, absolutely. When a missile is hit, they all get very scared. My elderly son is the one who understands what's going on. He knows exactly what happens. He gets a lot of nightmares and how scared he is. Now, the younger ones, they don't understand what's going on, but they get really scared whenever there's a strike.
Have you lost extended family members as well in this war?
There is no one here in Gaza at this point is left without losing someone close to him, a friend or an extended family or a neighbor. I'm not an exception.
Who have you lost?
We have extended family who live very close by here. A family of 11 people, the father, the mother, and the grandsons, the wives of the sons. They were all killed in a single strike, totaling 11 people, all in a single strike.
How does that leave the wider family feeling?
At this point now, everyone is expecting the worst. Everyone is now expecting that he might lose his whole family. Me, my wife, and my children, we all sleep together on the same mattress. So in case anything bad happens, we either all stay alive together.
Oh, did little Joel, is he putting out a series on Palestine? The Mandate of Israel. Oh. Alright. I'm probably not going to watch Brad Huber's do histories of Palestine and Israel.
Or we all die together.
Ibrahim Alaga, speaking to me from southern Gaza. Well, we did want to speak to someone from the Israel Defense Force to put some of the concerns raised by Dr. Abaid earlier, but no one was available.
Okay. What if his video is better than your research and knowledge? Well, then I'll never know and I'll be embarrassed, but no one will know. If you could, would you debate Hassan? Yeah. But he won't. That's not his agenda, so yeah. How do you feel about the notion that for every Israeli missile that kills one civilian, 100 more Hamas members are created? Do you think it's accurate? Potentially. I don't want to surprise me. That's kind of why people join Hamas, right? Like it's kids who grow up with PTSD. They see a bunch of their friends die. They join Hamas when they turn 16. And that's it, right? That's kind of how it works. But if there's no one to join, if there's no infrastructure there for them to go with, if they can't go somewhere where they're going to be given a job or where they're going to be given guns or they're going to be given rockets, then I guess that's not going to work, right? So it'll probably radicalize more people, but whether it allows those radicalized people to get access to the infrastructure that Hamas has is probably a different story. What's the rate of children PTSD there again? I think it's anything between 50% and like 90. It's really high. Yeah, it's stupidly high. Now it's probably like all of them, right? Why doesn't the radicalization theory work on Israelis? Israelis are a lot safer than Gazans. Death rates are always higher in Gaza than they are in Israel. And also, an Israeli, when the fighting stops or there's a ceasefire, an Israeli can just go back to their regular job that's fairly well paid, or they can like leave the country if they want to. Like Gazans can't. One group is like stateless, so that's probably a big difference as well. Caspian Report put up a video. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's see. Do I want to watch it? Ooh. I mean, I could watch the Joel video if you want, actually, because it's talking about. I just want to see how he. Actually, yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing how because I think he's definitely one of the smarter like left tubers out there. The Mandate of Israel, Arthur Balfour. Okay, let's talk about that. 1 hour.
Hey everybody, so recently,
No, 1 hour ago. It's 11 minutes.
because of the news surrounding Israel and Palestine, I've gotten very interested in the subject. I started reading a book by Rashid Khalidi called The 100 Years' War on Palestine,
Hey, I know this book.
history of settler colonialism and resistance, and so far I'm transfixed. It's an interesting and striking and informative read, and at some point I decided, why not share this with people? Why not summarize it chapter by chapter in a dry, arguably boring, little podcasty series? I'd like to, at the outset, say two things.
Damn, that's so cute. Wish I'd have thought of that. Whoa.
First, about me, I am not an expert in this subject, not by any means. You may look at that fact and ask, well, then why are you making this, or why aren't you becoming something of an expert before you make it? And those are fair questions, but I don't know. I learn better when I am communicating and writing about the subjects I'm interested in. I think this could be really informative for many people, regardless of my authority, and so I think these videos are a pretty good idea. But yeah, while I will do my best to recount this history book accurately and do some extra research where I think it's necessary, understand that I do not speak from a place of deep expertise, and that this book, while informative, is only 300 pages. There's a lot it does not get into. Second, about the book. Rashid Khalidi is a professor of modern Arab studies at Columbia University. His book comes highly recommended, and I have not found anyone, even his critics, seriously claiming that he does not have his information correct. I say this because I think
Benny Morris really hates Rashid Khalidi. I don't know why. I think he basically says that Rashid Khalidi is just like a PLO spokesman. I don't know if that's true because he criticizes the PLO in his book. Definitely their behavior in Lebanon he criticizes before the Civil War.
Loner box.
So,
smarmy cuck bastard.
Ahmad, thanks for the 1999 reals. Hamas these nuts. Whoa, thanks very much. I really appreciate that. Okay.
think some of you may be concerned about the bias of the book. And that's kind of fair, right? The book certainly does have an argument to make that Israel is a settler colonial nation, that Palestinians have been oppressed systematically for the last century, etc. But I would caution you against the belief that a book with an argument must be a lesser history. History is concerned with making arguments about the past. That is what a textbook does, that is what a memoir does, and that is what Rashid Khalidi is doing. Usually, I leave my comments almost completely uncensored, but there is one thing I won't allow here. Boring, empty, unjustified appeals to the book's bias. You can disagree with me, you can disagree with the book, that's fine, but you have to do the work. You have to convey information or arguments that go against what I'm saying. Anything else is just a thought-terminating cliche, right? And with that, let's get started. Part 1. The Balfour Declaration. Like so many geopolitical events of the last century, the conflict between Israel and Palestine finds its origin in the shifting of empires. For over 400 years, Palestine was under the control of the Ottoman Empire, but with the end of the First World War, the time of the Ottomans was over, and Palestine was a British possession. Khalidi writes, Palestinians were confronted by the disconcerting prospect of alien rule and the swift disappearance of Ottoman control, which had been the only system of government known for over 20 generations. In 1917, Arthur James Balfour, the British Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, made a famous and momentous declaration, and I'll read it to you now. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. The political project of Israel was here for the first time established by a global power, and it's an interesting statement, right? You may notice there are some words here devoted to...
He says like non-Jewish community, as if suggesting that there's going to be like a Jewish preference. Yeah.
assuring protections for the indigenous population of Palestine. Nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities. But these words they're strange, right? They have an odd vibe. As Khalidi points out, unlike the Jews, the Palestinian population is not given a name here, neither Palestinian nor Arab. They are merely relegated to the other, a group of people with no identity worthy of description. What's more, we may notice that the Palestinians are here offered civil and religious rights, and those words are an obvious contrast with what the Jews were offered: national rights, political rights, the rights of a people propped up by a world power. And this contrast was to be made even more clear. At a dinner in 1922, three great British statesmen, Balfour, Lloyd George, and Winston Churchill, assured a Zionist leader, Chaim Weizmann, that by the term Jewish national home, they always meant an eventual Jewish state. The question you must be asking is why? Why issue the Balfour Declaration? Why was the UK so invested in making Palestine a Jewish state? And here, Khalidi gestures at a few motivations. First, there was the sincere, religiously inspired belief that Jews should be returned to their biblical homeland. Second, there was the anti-Semitic desire to lower Jewish immigration to the UK. Third, and what Khalidi takes to be by far the most important, Britain wanted control over Palestine to establish this allied Jewish state for strategic reasons, military reasons. Just as an aside, this motive in particular echoes what would become the relationship between the West and Israel for the next century. Around 80 years.
That's maybe a bit of a reductive, because like Britain basically in 47 was like, fuck this, we want nothing to do with this place, we're giving it to the UN. Yeah, and didn't they? Yeah, because they basically turned, like, after what do you call it? After the Arab Revolt, they basically turned on the Zionists. They started limiting Jewish immigration. They started the arms embargo to stop people importing weapons, and then like the Zionists had to import like discreetly and illegally. So, and then at the end, Britain didn't want to try and partition at the end, so they just tried to give it up to fucking they gave it up to the UN. And I think when Israel was fighting against the Arab countries in 48, they were not like a Western-backed bastion, you know? They were basically on their own with like some arms from Czechoslovakia, and most quite largely relying on the political like collapse of the Palestinian leadership. The fact that a lot of them left after the Arab Revolt, a lot of them were kicked out of the country after the Arab Revolt in 36, 37. It was just before or after the British were attacked by the Haganah. This was after, right? Because when the British started limiting immigration, then groups like the Irgun got really fucking butt mad and started doing terror attacks against the British rule, right? Yeah. Anyway, there were definitely times when the British tried to establish different white papers or different proposals to have like for the Israelis and Palestinians to have some kind of partition or some kind of like state parity after the British left, but it was usually the case that one side would reject it or both sides would reject whatever offer came to them. So yeah, and then that's obviously the same with the partition plan. But okay. Also, he's not mentioning the fact that Jews were initially supported by the Balfour Declaration during the war, in part because Balfour and Lloyd George thought that Jews were just a lot more powerful in the world than they actually were, again, because of anti-Semitism, and they thought that they could buy like Jewish support during the war to help them win. But yeah.
Later, Biden would say the same thing.
I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make.
Whoa.
Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
Israel is an important investment. At any rate, Khalidi wrote a different book I haven't read that justifies that position, but for the sake of this series, it doesn't matter too much. The project of Israel...
Also, there's a huge gap there with, again, like America being either quite distant from Israel or even actually opposing Israel, like the Suez Canal crisis when America was completely against Israel's decision there. Because I think it was like, even post 67, America was really angry at Israel for annexing East Jerusalem afterwards. So yeah, I think it was more like, it was Yom Kippur was like the big point when America started supporting Israel in earnest, because Israel got really, really taken aback by that attack from Syria and Egypt.
Had here begun. It was promised as a state for and by the Jews, and this had certain obvious and inevitable implications on the indigenous population of Palestine. In 1922, the League of Nations, an international organization formed after the First World War, issued a mandate for Palestine, one that cemented Britain's provisional possession of the country and cemented the Balfour Declaration. Composed of 28 articles, the mandate is an interesting document, but I'll just take you through the highlights. In the third paragraph of the preamble, it claims that Jewish people have a history in Palestine which justifies and explains the project of Zionism. And of course, we can see here one of the most popular and long-lasting justifications for the political climate of Israel. Within this document, there is only one people with a relevant historical attachment to Palestine, and it's not the people who live there. As Khalidi writes, in the eyes of the drafters, the entire 2,000-year-old built environment of the country belonged to no people at all, or only to amorphous religious groups. There were people there, certainly, but they had no history or collective existence and could therefore be ignored. The seventh article of the mandate establishes that Palestine should be responsible for allowing easy immigration to the country, and doesn't this just show how deep the inequality here goes? At this time, groups of Palestinians who'd gone to the Americas during the Ottoman War wanted to come back to their home country, but the nationality laws permitted by this mandate made that immigration impossible. At its very foundations, Israel was conceived of as a colonial enterprise. A population who'd never seen the country were given the privilege of de facto access to it and control of it. Finally, I want to draw your attention to the second article, and I'll just read this one. The mandatory, that is the government of Palestine, shall be responsible for placing the country under such political, administrative, and economic conditions as will secure the establishment of the Jewish national home and the development of self-governing institutions, and also for safeguarding the civil and religious rights of all the inhabitants of Palestine, irrespective of race and religion. And here we find the same tension we found in the Balfour Declaration. On one hand, the article affirms the civil and religious rights of all inhabitants in the region. It seems kind of egalitarian. Yet in the very same breath, it claims that the political and economic power of the nation must lie with the people who will make it a Jewish homeland. We want to establish a privileged minority class, though we want that class to allow everyone to engage in society as equals. It is a moment of naked self-contradiction, and it's a bit surreal to read. Arthur Balfour seemed to understand this contradiction, this sense of deep conflict about the role of Palestinians in the emergence of Israel. In 1919, he wrote a confidential memo, and while it's a bit long, I'd like to end the video by reading a big chunk of it. It is a striking document, and one that's...
To Lorna Box and everyone in the chat, do you all think they will find tunnels under the Al-Shifa hospital? No, I think the IDF are just obsessed with this hospital for absolutely no reason. I think they just really want to take out one brown people hospital, but they just need excuse. It's been a long time coming for some reason. Netanyahu is just like, there's been a long time coming for this one hospital.
sets forth the project of Israel in stark and prescient terms. He begins, "In Palestine, we do not propose even to go through the form of consulting the wishes of the present inhabitants of the country. The four great powers are committed to Zionism, and Zionism, be it right or wrong, good or bad, is rooted in age-long traditions, in present needs and future hopes, of far profounder import than the desires and prejudices of the 700,000 Arabs who now inhabit that ancient land."
Ooh,
The
that's not
Balfour Declaration and League of Nation mandate spoke with terms like civil rights and representation, yet, as he says, none of it really made sense. Whatever be the future of Palestine, it is not now an independent nation, nor is it yet on the way to become one. Whatever deference should be paid to the views of those who live there, the powers in their selection of a mandatory do not propose, as I understand the matter, to consult them. In short, so far as Palestine is concerned, the powers have made no statement of fact which is not admittedly wrong, and no declaration of policy which, at least in the letter, they have not always intended to violate. Geez, you know, really just said it. Just went there and said it. Anyway, with that, I hope you join me next time as we get into the 20s and 30s, the impact of the Holocaust, the strikes and chaos, and the violent beginnings of Israel.
Israel.
Thank you for your time.
That wasn't actually, that was good. It was a reasonable video. A couple of bits missing, but not really. Like, again,
which is,
I think people who are pro-Israel like try to defend this period. It's just like, fuck, like there's really no defense of it. It's like there were people living there, and the British decided that we want to like give at least political parity to a group that is like what less than 10% of the population. The only thing is like, the thing I would say about this period is that the Arabs who lived there definitely had like 100% the strongest case for self-determination after the British Mandate, but they had the worst leaders. Their leaders were absolute dog shit. I think when Israel, when the Zionists were invited to start a Jewish agency for Israel, like a kind of like proto-state establishment, they went with it, and they were very because they were quite modern, they weren't subject to like old feudal rules and shit like that, so they were meritocratic, they were very they had very like modern structures, they allowed women's suffrage even before Britain did, so they were able to assemble money together quite easily or quite effectively. They worked very hard at that, whereas the Palestinian leadership were just kind of these like leftovers of Ottoman feudal systems, and they didn't prepare for statehood. In the 30s, like 40% of the Palestinian upper class left the country, and they left to move to like Beirut and Cairo. So that's kind of how I would summarize it. It's like the Arabs had a much better case, but they had the worst advocates. Zionists didn't have a very good case, but they had the best advocates in the world. Yeah, that's kind of how I would put it. So while you have this kind of like sluggish Palestinian leadership and the likes of Al Husseini and shit like that, the Zionists they're buying up swampland and draining it to make it farmable. They're buying swathes of land in the like just outside of like cities like Jaffa to make to start Tel Aviv, and they're also buying up some houses and evicting the local tenant farmers. Like yeah, there's a few thousand people as well. So yeah, they were chugging, and the Palestinian leadership was not chugging, and that is not obviously that's not the and the people who suffered in part the consequences of that, as well as the British decisions, were the Palestinians who lived there. That's how I'd put it. All right, decent video. Decent video. All right. Give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I think I give it a solid 7 out of 10, actually. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Okay. Why don't you stream on Twitch? Because the chats weren't integrating properly. Funny as fuck, the chat was insulting the hell out of little Joel. You said you liked it, and now they've all shut up. Damn, Borg. Borg got fighting words with the chat. Ooh. Okay. Can we watch the second thought video now? No, because it's just gonna trigger me, okay? And I wanted to talk about right-wing cringe today, okay? Because we haven't done enough of that these days. What's this?
Where's your puppies? Where's your fucking puppies? Where's your fucking puppies? You scum! You cowardly cunt! Fuck off! Where's your puppies?
Okay. Zizek called Destiny. What? Like on Discord? What are you talking about? Okay, whatever. Fuck. On the phone. Did you see Zerka getting dropped? No, let's do that. Where's that? Is that in stream chat? Called out. Zizek called out Destiny. What?
Much worse. Let's call it biological or Destiny-style anti-Semitism, where you tell, for example, it's a disgusting...
Okay, nice one. Well done. Good one. Solid chat. Whoop. Banger. Okay, hang on. All right, we read our donors. All right. Now, where's the Zerka thing? I need it in stream chat. Let's go. Quick. Quick. All right, hang on. Zerka says he won. Zerka's a bit weird. He's a bit of a crazy fuck. I don't know. Bit of a tool, I'll say. Okay. Why does Wonderbox give pro-Israel people the benefit of the doubt, whilst pro-Hamas he doesn't give any benefit of the doubt? Just, if you because the problem with you is you've guzzled so much propaganda is that you think Israel and Hamas are like morally equal, like their objectives are the same, or like they would both do exactly the same amount of harm if they had the same amount of power. It's so stupid. Anyway, fuck. Because pro-Israel can just mean you want Israel to exist as a nation and to draw its borders and then give the rest of the land to fucking Palestinians and leave it as that. That can be a pro-Israel position. A pro-Israel position can also be like a one-state solution. You can be in favor of one state that represents both national groups equally and peacefully. That can be a pro-Israel position. A pro-Hamas position is get all the Jews out of Israel and establish an Islamic state from the river to the sea. And by any means necessary, even if it means fucking beheading or setting people on fire or like gunning down civilians just in a random town. Torturing people, torturing your own people. So that's probably why. That's probably why I give a little bit more benefit of the doubt to pro, but I tend to not anyway. I've been really frustrated by pro-Israel people in my chat since the very beginning, so I don't know. You're weird. It's because you watch Second Thought. Like, that's what happens, you know? You watch like propaganda videos. You don't fucking question the fact that like the validity of any of the like headlines he puts through or the, like how he's telling a story. Yeah, it's just yeah. I don't think a pro-Israel position means a binational state. I know it generally doesn't, but people who are pro-Israel can be in two states, right? And it's not incompatible with one state either. Even Pape says that. The Pape says that like he tries to push the argument that one state solution doesn't have to negate Israel's right to exist. right? Yeah. All right, hang on. Oh. What's the black Israelite position? You know what? I really don't know. Would Sloanabus give the benefit of someone who supports a Crimea two-state? What the fuck is a Crimea two-state? What does that mean? Can you come into Discord and explain that to me, little ghost boy? You can give me the Discord link and you can come in and explain that to me in the VC. If you think you have a good analogy there. Because I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. What the fuck is a Crimea two-state? Ugh. Half Russian, half Ukrainian. Like they just give up the... But it's like, it's all intertwined. It's not like there's a Russian side and a Tatar side of Crimea, is it? Maybe it's a little bit, but fuck. My analogy would be that Crimea is annexed. The 4 territories in the east and the south are annexed. I think annexed land should go back to the people who it was taken from. I think West Bank and Gaza, West Bank is partly annexed and occupied. Gaza is stateless, is like technically occupied, is legally occupied. So I think they should go to the Palestinians. There's a consistent position. Golan Heights should go back to fucking Syria, or like, I don't know if the Druze want to have an independent little place there. And East Jerusalem, don't forget that. Yeah. All right. What's this? Oh. Wait, why am I not? Okay.
Hey, chill, boys.
Wait, how did this start? So Zerka pushes him.
Hey, chill, boys. Hey, chill. You can sue me, you broke up. Hey, chill, boys.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boys. Chill.
Why does he do this? He's a lot bigger as well.
My God, John.
Oh, he tried to push him into the car.
Chill, boys. Chill. Oh, my.
He is a lot bigger, isn't he?
Stop, boys. It's not. Stop. But the camera's for real. All right, get off. Bro, I can Chill.
Bro, he's trying to stop him as well. He's trying to calm him down. Fuck's sake.
Chill. Boys, get off. Don't do off.
Zerka said he won. Zerka said he won. I don't know. Did he get like a single one in after that like sucker punch?
Boys.
So he doesn't get anything in there.
Boys.
Okay.
You smarmy cuck bastard.
That's I don't know. He's not really.
Oh, chill!
Fuck, man. Don't mix coke and steroids. I feel like he's just not very good at that, is he? He looks like really clumsy and like not really like an experienced guy. I fucking know. I guess he got the tackle. Yeah. Like into a car. Like he could have like killed that guy. Shit. He's too stiff. I too. Oh, Ahmad, thanks for the $39.99. I too wish to be lectured about how Hamas is just the custodian of the Palestinian cause by a liberal arts major in Portland who desperately wants the Arab girl in Calc 102 to give him the time of day. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Damn. Damn. All right. So, it's been a little while since we've checked in with our English cousins. Our royalist compadres. And it's Remembrance Sunday today, where we wear little poppy badges and remember the dead from the 2 world wars. And it was also the day of a Free Palestine march in London, which I think had about 1/3 people, 300,000 marchers, pro-Palestine demonstrators, marching from Hyde Park all the way down to US Embassy. Not Remembrance Sunday, it's 11th of November, though. It's that day. Leave me alone. Didn't they have the silence today, though? Whatever. Leave me alone. Yeah, they went past this. The cenotaph was over there in Parliament Square. And Suella Braverman, who is a Conservative MP. Oh, it's Armistice Day. Gotcha. All right. I don't know my British war holidays. They're all dumb. All right. Suella Braverman, the one who talks about how it's her dream to send migrants on planes to Rwanda. That kind of shit. She's one of the more psychotic authoritarian conservatives in government. It's weird that they often give, I don't know if it's just like that's her authentic opinions or that the conservatives are just very good because they are very effective in letting their craziest positions become embodied by like brown women. Because before Suella, it was Priti Patel. If they're doing that strategically, it's very clever, but who knows? Maybe it's just a coincidence. So they had this march, and Suella, who is a big champion of the anti-protest laws that we've been passing in the UK, was very, very interested in cancelling this march. She basically couldn't because they weren't doing anything illegal. So it took place. But I think she had said like quite inflammatory stuff about the marchers. She said that they were hate marchers. She said they were Islamists. She said that From the River to the Sea slogan was too controversial to have like said publicly. I think there's a lot of warnings that she made about these protests. And looking at the Free Palestine protests that have happened around the world since October 7th, there's definitely room for criticism. There was that one in Sydney where they were chanting like "Gas the Jews." There was that one in America where the guy was bragging about hipsters or hippies getting killed by paragliders. There have been lots of people with these signs that glorify the paragliders. I guess a lot of them just didn't know what those paragliders were doing, or they did know and they didn't care. It could be either. And there's obviously been a massive surge in anti-Semitic hate crimes. Up and down Europe, we've had like France, where people have had where an old Jewish couple had their door Molotov cocktailed, or there was like, Stars of David drawn on people's houses. So yeah, it's pretty wild. I think it's good as a protester to police your protesters, to police other people at the protest. If someone is holding up a ridiculous, like a hateful sign, or if someone is chanting, like calling for death and shit like that, it gets really uncomfortable where a crowd of British people, because British people never like to disturb the vibe, okay? That's why we stand in queues. That's why we say sorry for everything. That's why we say please and thank you too often. That's why, yeah, we're a very polite nation. And the result of that is that people can say mad shit at protests, and people just kind of like awkwardly cheer and clap along, and no one really knows what to do. No one really likes to be the one to disturb the rhythm. And it's like I've been at a protest where someone was chanting like the only good turf is a dead turf, and I was surrounded by a bunch of like 5'2" HRT pink hair like people with fluffy rainbow tote bags. I'm like, bro, what are you? If anyone's gonna get attacked, it's gonna be the people in this protest, right? If you're talking like, yeah, I don't know, I just thought it was a bad idea, but people just kind of cheered, and you could tell there's a little bit of, ooh, I don't know about that one, bro. Yeah, it was just so. Yeah, I don't really. I think it's good to police protest because I think generally most people, once you call something out in a protest, and I've seen this happen plenty of times, is that generally other people will agree if it's very much within reason, and then they'll back off, or they'll take down their sign that has some like liberal Scottish politician with a Hitler mustache drawn on him or whatever the fuck. Yeah. There are lots of things that happen at these protests that are very obvious to call out. From the River to the Sea, I think is quite low on that list. I would say that From the River to the Sea is like, I can see why people are jittery about it, because people like Hamas say it, and supporters of Hamas say it, and when they say it, they mean free all of historic Palestine from all the Jews. That's what they mean. Or if you're a more secular extremist, you might say it means free Palestine from all the colonizers, who all happen to be Jews. Or, well, I imagine most people think about it, is they think From the River to the Sea means that one day Israelis and Palestinians will share the land peacefully, and there will be reconciliation, and there will be reparations, and they'll all exist harmoniously in a binational, secular, democratic state. I feel like that's probably what, if you pushed people who were saying From the River to the Sea, that's probably what most of them would say, at least in the like English-speaking world, or in like Europe and America. So I don't like this idea that when people say one state solution, for example, is like genocidal. Like that's the Ben Shapiro like take. I don't buy that at all, because at the end of the day, outside of an invasion, the only way one state happens is if both sides agree to it. And both sides are not going to agree to it if they think their side's going to not be protected and have reasonable assurances made for them in that process. So yeah, there's definitely a debate you can have about using that phrase, because with any other thing that we do, we tend to say like, oh, if a sentence in and of itself might not be bad, it might be completely inoffensive, but if it's co-opted by enough racists and anti-Semites, then that's a problem, right? So you could probably have that debate about River to the Sea, but that's not again, also free speech at the end of the day. Like, it's not enough to try and cancel a march over, or to say that, like, so yeah, there was no, even with the UK's laws, there was no cancelling this march. But because Suella framed it in this way and said that it was hate marchers or Islamists, it did bring out a group of counter-protesters, featuring one of them, an old friend of the show who we haven't heard about for quite a while, Tommy Robinson. And like a classic British patriot, they don't give a fuck about British patriotism, not even slightly. Supporters of the activist Tommy Robinson and football hooligans broke through police lines in Whitehall, central London, just moments before the 2-minute silence at 11 a.m. These guys, these defenders of Britain, these respecters of British customs, these guys who will say, you can exist in our country, just do all the British stuff properly. It's like, okay. The march was scheduled for 12, so they were scheduled to march after the 2-minute silence. So we've got our British Muslims out here being more sensitive to British customs than old Tommy Globinson. Let's see how this went. I think that's why they inferred that they are football hooligans with those chants. By contrast, I think the Free Palestine March of 300,000 people was actually peaceful at the end of the day. I think. I think there were maybe 5 allegations of hate crimes, no reported arrests by 5 p.m. 5 allegations of hate crimes, including anti-Semitic and racist chants and placards. So it was there. There was definitely some, can't be perfect. Can't probably be room for improvement, but damn. No, stop reading 800. Look here. More than 300,000 pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered, although organizers put the number at 800,000. People like to inflate their numbers, okay? And like progressives are not immune to this, right? It's like wrestling. You know, in wrestling, like all the heights and weights are fake. Or maybe they're gathered from one time, but they're never constant. And you know, like all the attendance records that they send at like WrestleMania, it's like all those numbers are fake. I guess same here. You know, people lie about their numbers. I think it was closer to 300,000 from everything I've read. But damn. As far as I've heard from the British protests, I don't think I've heard of anything that bad. I know, well, I do know that outside of the protests, since October 7th, there's been like a really big rise in Islamophobic and anti-Semitic hate crimes. Let me see. Hate crime rise UK 2023. This is the 20th of October. 1,300% rise. You never see a percentage number that high, eh? Islamophobic offenses up by 140%. I think the UK isn't the UK one of the more unique countries, because most countries, Jews are the biggest recipients of hate crimes. Like I think in America it's Jews, but I think in the UK it's Muslims and then Jews. Hmm. Hmm. Is that because their numbers are bigger though? No, I think it's proportionate. Like whatever I read, but that was a while ago. Islamophobic hate crimes are maxed out already. Listen, there's always room for more, Vivian. You can always make the number go higher, eh? Never give up. I'm joking. Obviously, it's bad that the number goes up, but okay. There are very few Jews in the UK. Yeah, I know. I think in Scotland, there are only like a few thousand. And we know there are none in Doncaster because of the Great Doncaster Jewish Purge. 2011, there were 5,800 Jews in Scotland. I guess some of them went to Israel, did they? Or I don't know. Some of them left anyway. Not many of them. 41% of them live in East Renfrewshire in Greater Glasgow. Huh. Huh. To be fair, I don't know that many Jews. I know like a couple, like 2, 3. There's a whole history of anti-Semitism in the UK. It's like a lot of people in the UK don't know about it. I don't think a lot of people in the UK know dick about the anti-Semitism. Like, I can tell you what I know just off of like a bit of reading. But we've had like quite a few anti-Semitic purges, and it basically culminates in like a couple of 100 years of hatred, and then there's like a huge expulsion, and then they're banned from the country for like a few hundred years. So I think a lot of Jews came to the UK with William the Conqueror in 1066. They were locked out of a lot of the artisan work, like craft and arts, because those were like monopolized by Christian guilds. But they had one exception that they were allowed to engage in that Christians were not, which was lending money for profit. They were allowed to do usury. The king would take advantage of Jewish lenders, and you'd have like a local Jew who could basically, I can't know exactly how it worked, but they would lend, and then the king would appropriate taxes from the local Jews. So I think in one of the battles in Scotland, actually, in the Scottish War of Independence, in uh, between like William Wallace and what do you call it, William Wallace and Robert the Bruce, there was one time I think when the Scottish kicked out the English and they like this mob just basically murdered the local Jew because he was kind of like seen as an extortionate lender, like a fucking moneybags person. And on top of that, you had like blood libel cases. So Jews were accused of killing babies to harvest their blood for religious rituals. There were riots. I think in York, there was a riot where like 100 Jews were killed just in one go. And it's also the case that people think that a lot of these things are a lot newer than they actually are. In the 13th century, I think it was one of the King Henrys, 3 or 4, he made it law that Jews had to wear badges, like marking badges. And that was a practice that I think the first people to ever do that were way back in like Baghdad. I think it was Baghdad in like the 9th or 10th century when people started doing that with like, it was like they had to wear these like cone hats or stars. But yeah, they did that in England in the 13th century. And then they were forbidden from building new synagogues. Then there was like segregation laws. And then what would also happen throughout the 1200s, when there was a lot of fighting, often between Scots and English or between different barons and lords, is they would borrow a lot of money from Jews. They would utilize Jewish debts to fund their wars, and then after, when they didn't want to pay the Jews back, they would like incite a pogrom or just kill them or expel them. So that happened quite a lot as well. So anti-Jewish rising was really common in like the 13th century. And then towards the end of the century, you have these like new statutes come in where public hatred of Jewish like lending was just too unsustainable. So they outlawed it. They outlawed usury, and then but with Jews being locked out of everything else, a lot of them just violated the statute and tried to lend anyway because they couldn't do anything else. And that made people angry. So there were like synagogues started getting closed. And then finally, in like, I think just before the end of the 13th century, Edward the First, who was Hammer of the Scots, was also Hammer of the Jews. He was massively in debt from fighting Scots. And instead of paying it back, he just threw out I think he owed some of it to Jews, so he just expelled them, and that was them. They were all fucked off and banned, and they wouldn't come back to the UK until like 1450 or 1600s, mid 1600s. They wouldn't, so they were banned for like 400 years, or just a bit under. It was when Oliver Cromwell and the Roundheads took control that the Jew ban was lifted. So yeah, that's just one of, I think, probably more than one anti-Semitic purges in the UK. Yeah, the Roundheads. Yeah. Oliver Cromwell was a pretty No, where's the picture where he's all covered in warts? I'm thinking of someone else, am I? Never mind. It's a Blackouter episode where he has loads of warts. Oh shit. Oh well. Ollie was no chill dude. Do you watch Apostate Prophet? Nope. No. Do you learn much about Scottish history? No, not really. Learn about the War of Independence from a very pro-Scottish perspective. We never actually learned about the Purge of the Jews, though. That was something I had to figure out by myself, thanks to the old Wikipedia and other such reputable sources. But anyway, hope you learned something there about the Jews. a bit of a tangent. Suella Braverman's a fucking moron. God, what a horrible person. I cannot, again, not, no fan of Starmer, but God. No fan of Starmer, but I just can't wait to get these absolute scumbags out of government. Like, it's, hey, look at them go.
Loner box, you smarmy cuck
Bastard. Look at that. 21 points. It's so consistent as well. Anyway. What am I looking for? M with the 199. What's history had in Scotland like since it's so old? Yeah, they don't teach you that much. Industrial Revolution. Fucking Wars of Independence. What is this? Do I want to watch this?
Hassan Abi, more like.
That was incredibly loud. The left YouTube pipeline, the good, the bad, and the hot. Do I care about this?
Hassan.
Isn't this the deprogram guy? What? Okay. That's Destiny there. I saw a Destiny logo there. What are we talking about here? The bit is 34 minutes long. This guy's from the deprogram, so it's like, what is this? Reply guys, news, streamers, entertainers, hype men, teachers. Okay. Tumors. Interesting. Am I a tumor? I've always wondered why people put 3 arrows, why like tankies like to rep 3 arrows. Because 3 arrows is very, like the whole 3 arrows thing is like a very anti-communist symbol. It's a very anti-authoritarian symbol, and these guys love authoritarian, so I don't know. I feel like it's all just aesthetics for half these people anyway. Like, am I in this, or why do I care? Why did someone say I need to see this? This is just like a standard, here are all my favorite channels. Whoop. That's all this is. Which is fine, but God. Alright,
Loner
whatever.
box,
Give a fuck.
you smarmy cuck bastard.
Bro, watch the second thought video. Hey, Ravenholm, thanks for the 5 Canadian. Have you ever seen channel A Different Bias? He's pretty good with UK News and Podcast Daily. I know I haven't. Maybe I'll have a look. Listen, I'm biased in favor of truth. That's me. Maybe they like 3 hours for the same reason Hassan likes you. What, because we know our shit? Is that the idea? I don't know. I don't know why Hassan likes me, but... This is a incredibly weak performance. Which one is he on? Geoguess.com. Okay. 195 countries. The green is where he got lucky. Let's see. Let's see if it's possible. Do you have to sign up to this website? No fucking way. Do you have to sign up to this website? What? All right, here it is. This is large countries. I don't want to do large countries. I want to do all the countries. 190. Recognized by United Nations. Okay. Let's go. I just feel like when we have the competition, you know? Oh no, I forgot where Sweden is. Okay. Good start. Good start, Lorna Box. Greece. Oh no, not St. Lucia. No. There's no way. Why did I start with this shit? It's one of these fucks, isn't it? So that's Trinidad at the bottom. Trinidad at the bottom. Barbados at the right. St. Kitts at the top. Okay. Venezuela. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Seychelles. That's like one of these fucks, isn't it? Madagascar. Which one is Seychelles? Hey! Croatia. With all the beaches. Estonia is the north one. Sri Lanka. China. Oh. Oh, Zambia. Oh. Ooh. Zambia is around here, isn't it? Zambia and Zimbabwe are not far from one another. Oh, no. South Africa, Lesotho, Namibia, Angola, Zimbabwe. Oh, God. This is Mozambique. Fuck. Congo. Hey. I have no fucking idea where Vanuatu is. Why would I even? So Palau is on the right, on the left. Palau on the left. Marshall Islands on the top. Kiribati on the right. Okay. Benin. It's one of these fucks, isn't it? Togo, that's this one. Hey, okay, nice one. Saudi. Monaco. Latvia. Vatican. Is the Vatican San Marino? Oh my god, dumb fuck. Libya. Albania. Oh wait, why don't I know Albania off the top of my head? Bosnia. Oh shit. Is it this one on the coast? Algeria. Let's go back. Oh, what the fuck is Malawi? Oh shit. Mauritania. Mali. I don't know Malawi. I did this one? Hey, that somehow. Okay. Armenia. Oh, I should know. Wait, Georgia? It's one. Why don't I know this? That's embarrassing. Okay, I'm not gonna look at chat. Fuck off, chat. Mexico. Watch my head, okay? Bully me if I move my head. Jamaica. I should know where fucking Jamaica. Oh god. Why don't I know where Jamaica is, guys? Why? Hey, Palestine. Oh, to be the day where we can. It's obviously okay. Moldova. Okay. Samoa. I don't think I'm ever gonna find Samoa. So it wasn't one of that one or that one or that one. Tonga. Nauru. Okay. No chance. Philippines. Costa Rica's in the middle. but I can't remember which middle one it is. Oops. Should know that. I should get better at Central America. Okay. Norway. Federated States of Micronesia. That wasn't. I feel like I clicked it, but I don't remember which one it was. Okay, that's one I didn't click. I know Chad. Chad's easy because it looks like Chad. Egypt. Sudan. I don't even know what continent Comoros is on. It's in Africa, isn't it? Is it West Africa? Yeah, Chad actually looks like Chad, yeah. Why do I want to see that Comoros is this? Sorry, fuck off, chat. I don't know. I don't know which one Comoros is. Oh, it's that. Never gonna get that. Tunisia. I do know where Tanzania is. Oh, fuck. Mozambique. Hey. I don't actually know where Belize is. Belize is the one that I don't even know which continent it's on. I always fuck up Belize. Just pick a random fucking... There. Okay, I gotcha. Bolivia. This is a landlocked one. Oman. Thailand. I should know where Thailand is, but I actually... Fuck me. Laos? Cambodia? Okay. Jordan. Slovenia. Oh, not Guinea. It's Equatorial Guinea. Fuck. Don't know which one Guinea is, guys. No idea. One of these is Rwanda. Rwanda's the top one. Okay. Ooh. Chile. Argentina. Germany. Uh-oh. Don't zoom in too much. Fucking brain fart. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'm looking at chat for that reaction. Okay. Why is it being a dick? All right, hang on. Just gonna move this. This was St. Kitts. This was Barbados. No. That one, okay. Qatar. Got UAE. Oh wait, why don't I? No, it's Kuwait. Fuck, this is Jesus Christ. Maldives. That's like a sea place, isn't it? Nope. Mauritius is that one. Oh, it's this one. Okay. United States. Hey. Brunei. That's around here, isn't it? Because China fucks with Brunei. Yep. Lebanon. Whoop. Ethiopia. That's Kenya. Bulgaria. Ukraine. Haiti? I actually don't know which one Haiti is. That one. Iraq. South Sudan. Belarus. Switzerland. Fucking Germany. Fuck off. No one cares about Germany. Netherlands? Whoa, wait. Belgium, Netherlands. Okay. I remember where Nauru was. I remember. Do I? I think Nauru was the middle one. Hey! Afghanistan. That's Iran. Stop, Lona. Pakistan. Okay. Which one is Paraguay? That's Ecuador. Uruguay. Oh, I knew that. Fuck. What is fucking Paraguay? Oh, it's the middle. Oh, yeah, it's the other landlocked one. Okay. Ukraine. Singapore. Bahrain. Japan. Turkey. Azerbaijan. Hungary. Fuck me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Stop. Stop. Fiji. Okay. Oh, I know where Fiji is, but I don't know where Hungary is. Well done, Learnerbox. North Macedonia. Suriname. It's one of these ones. Montenegro. Isn't Montenegro the really small one? Yeah. Turkmenistan is one of these fucks. This is Uzbekistan, I think. No, it's the one I didn't. Okay. DCR. Peru. Colombia. Botswana. It's one of these. This one, isn't it? Italy. Cameroon is one of these fucking shitty side ones, isn't it? Hey, close enough. Belgium. So, oh, what did I just click by accident? Oh no. Oh well. Solomon Islands. Okay. Spain. Oh, hello, Cameroon. Panama. Uruguay. Mali. Malaysia. Why am I'm really bad at these ones. This is Indonesia. Hey. Serbia. Syria. Bangladesh. Nepal? Poland. Ooh, Djibouti is... Hey! I know where Djibouti is, but I don't know where Hungary is. Well done, Loner Box. Kuwait. Dominican Republic. Oh, this is on the Central America, isn't it? It's not there. I'm just looking at the map on my other screen, see that you guys can see. Why are you doing that? Hey. Dominican Republic's around... Oh. East Timor. That's one of these stupid countries, isn't it? It's right next to West Timor. Hey, North Korea. Guyana. That's the one on the far left. Madagascar. Oh, stop accidentally clicking stuff, Loner Box. Fuck. Marshall Islands. Which is which here? Okay. Liberia. Oh. Fuck. Okay, got it. Cote d'Ivoire. Ugh. Grenada. That's one of these ones. Which one was it? No, it wasn't. It was one of these ones. Hey, close enough. Senegal, that's over here. Oh, shit. Lithuania. Burundi. That's a French one, isn't it? Yeah. Denmark. Myanmar. Well, why don't I know which one Myanmar is? Okay. Ireland. UAE. Nepal. Bhutan. Eritrea. Antigua and Barbuda is this one, right? Nope. Top one? Yeah. Uganda. Uganda's a very small one. No, wait, that's Rwanda, isn't it? Yeah, okay. New Zealand. Barbados is that one. Lesotho is inside South Africa. Kyrgyzstan. It's near Afghanistan, isn't it? Nope. Close enough. Cambodia. Gabon is... I feel like I've clicked Gabon like 3 times now. Hey, okay. Slovakia. Let's be careful now because Europe's a hard one. Palau. Why am I... Okay, Tonga. Wait, Tonga's in Africa. What am I doing? I'm just confusing it for... No, Tonga's in here. Yeah, fucked up there. Republic of Congo. Laos. Honduras. Sorry. Not looking for you guys. Sorry. Oh shit, why am I keep forgetting? Okay. St. Kitts and Nevis is the top one. Iceland. Uzbekistan is the big one. Ghana. One of these ones. Yeah. Sierra Leone. No. Austria. Careful. The Bahamas. Papua New Guinea. Brazil. Ecuador. Why did I... Come on. El Salvador is the small one, isn't it? Yeah. Kiribati. That's over here, isn't it? That's Tuvalu. San Marino's up here. Burkina Faso. Ah. Nicaragua. Morocco. Is it Andorra and Liechtenstein? Yeah. Which one's Guatemala? Is that this one? Yeah. Namibia, that's down here. Mauritius. Ooh. Yemen. Niger. That's Nigeria. Yeah, okay. The Gambia. Dominica. The fuck is Dominica? What the fuck is that? One of these? Oh. Vietnam? Nigeria? Cuba is the big one. UK. Togo. Okay. Trinidad and Tobago is the bottom one of these. Indonesia. Rwanda. Kazakhstan. I should know. Yeah, big one. Yeah. Sao Tome and oh. Bosnia. Central African Republic. Oh. Luxembourg's between these ones, right? Yeah. Czechia. Mauritania. Georgia. Angola's in the south. Yeah. Tuvalu is the one left. Okay. France. Damn, we're at 70%. Holy shit. Guinea-Bissau. Oh. Guinea-Bissau. Hey. Iran. Zimbabwe. Because this is Mozambique. Equatorial Guinea. Okay. Hey, Israel. Gone. What the fuck is Eswatini? Okay. Cape Verde. Liechtenstein is this one. Okay. Nice. Oh, I mean Israel. Yeah. It used to be called Swaziland. Hey, let's go. That was reasonable. Passing grade, GG. Yeah, well. First class degree. How's our friend doing?
Leon is the little guy here.
No, he's doing all of Africa. Oh, whatever. At least he didn't miss Germany, eh? You have to look more into Germany. Lots of... Fuck off. Leave me alone. Oh, God. All right. What now? Zizek. Second thought video. No! Maybe. Not today, actually. We'll get a bigger audience for that. Not today. You know what? I might even pre-watch it just so I can prepare for all the bullshit. How big a super chat would be required? What, do the second thought video today? $100. I'll do it today, off the cuff. All right. Anyway. Why are there only 600 viewers? Well, we were on 750, but then we started playing the fucking countries game. So I guess you guys don't like it when I play countries game. Whatever. Caspian report. Let's do that first, yeah. I like those videos. Why Israel is a geopolitical linchpin?
Israel punches well above its weight.
You mean, Israel?
In all matters of statecraft. It sits at the intersection of Europe, Asia, and Africa, thereby channeling high-impact international economic ventures. It has one of the most technologically advanced and capable military forces in the globe. It is allied with the world's premier superpower, and it is a pioneer in sectors like agriculture, healthcare, startups, and technology. But for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Ooh.
Israel is small, vulnerable, and limited in resources. The country faces hostile neighbors to all sides.
I've never actually seen what it looks like this. That's really interesting. Galilee. Negev.
Only friendly flank being the Mediterranean Sea. For
interesting.
over 75 years, Israel has existed in a state of perpetual conflict, each time facing battles that could have been its last. This stalemate, as disagreeable as it may be, is unlikely to improve anytime soon. The Middle East is an unforgiving place, a school of hard knocks. So, by means of military posturing, Israel reminds the periphery that it is capable, dangerous, and willing to get its hands dirty.
Ooh.
Coupled with its religious and historical significance to multiple faiths, Israel is key to regional geopolitics. And so, for all its features, it must expect the unexpected. Because in this part of the world, to stand out is to stand within the crosshairs.
Damn. I like the chess pieces, you know. These. I feel like every time I hear someone describe foreign policy as a chess game, I just think like, I don't know. I just think they're about to say some bullshit, you know.
The geopolitical importance of Israel manifests in many ways, but when it comes to influencing public opinion, the media plays a critical role. News coverage of Israel can change drastically.
Some of these channels haven't even been going for a really long time. Like Maxi doesn't really post anymore up there. Why is the screenshot so blurry? Richard Wolf, hey. All right, whatever.
Depending on where you get your information, and there's an increasing left-right divide on the issue, especially in the United States. This is why I use Ground News to make sure I'm getting the full story. I've been working with them for a while, and it is in times like these that the ability to quickly compare multiple news sources becomes priceless. Right now, Ground News is having its biggest sale of the year. You can get 40% off their Vantage subscription, the one I use to do my analysis, at ground.news/Caspian.
Yeah.
Let me show you some of the features. This is the Ground News blind spot feed, which surfaces stories that are receiving lopsided coverage from one side of the political spectrum. Here's a story primarily covered by left.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think like you notice the Ground News ads. They're always like, yeah, they kind of sneak in. They're very snuck in.
Leaning news sources. Hamas-run government says Israel strikes residential buildings in Gaza refugee camp for the second day with many casualties. Days later, we get this story primarily covered by right-leaning news outlets. Israel Defense Forces say Hamas hides rockets in playground swimming pools. The first story highlights the perspective of Palestine's Hamas-run government, noting attacks on residential buildings and many casualties. The second story highlights the perspective of the IDF and claims that Hamas intentionally hides rockets in residential areas, perhaps trying to justify the attacks. If I were stuck in a media bubble, I'd only be getting one side of the story. You can use my link, ground.news/Caspian, to subscribe to Ground News today to take advantage of their best deal of the year. You'll get unlimited access to their app, website, and newsletters. Once you start reading the news this way, it's impossible to go back. The lay of the land shapes the hand that rules. This rings especially true for Israel. 3 distinctive regions make up its geography. The first and most important is the coastal plain. Its length runs along the Mediterranean coast from the city of Haifa by the slopes of Mount Carmel to the outskirts of the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the depth of the coastal plain extends up to the Judean mountains by the city of Jerusalem, which overlaps roughly with the boundaries of the West Bank. Interestingly enough, while Jerusalem is renowned for its religion...
Damn, if I was like a bit more partisan reviewing this, I'd be like, it's very suspicious he's calling it Judea and Samaria.
and historical significance...
What is this? Are people just fishing through this video for the... Okay. Reply, guys. Wow. Soy. Okay. Where am I? Israel.
And is officially the capital of Israel, it is actually Tel Aviv that captures the spotlight. More precisely...
Where's Loanerbox? Those guys don't like me. I mean, yeah. For some, probably some, like if you're a tanky, you shouldn't really like me, but like also there are probably some reasons that are mostly made up, but whatever.
Tel Aviv's metropolitan area, known as Gush Dan, is the epicenter of Israel's political, financial, industrial, and cultural life. More than 4 million Israelis, or 40% of the country's total population, live in the greater metropolitan area.
A lot of people.
By and large, however, the core of Israel rests in the coastal plain. It doesn't just host the country's largest cities, but also its international airports, seaports, critical infrastructure, and political institutions. The coastal plain, therefore, makes up the heartland of Israel. The problem, however, is the lack of strategic depth. At its narrowest margin, the coastal plain is only 14 kilometers wide, measured from the West Bank to the Mediterranean coast. And herein lies the origin of Israel's complicated and ruthless geopolitical...
Why does his voice sound like it's got a chorus on it? It's really weird. It sounds like his voice is doubled. Like it's double-tracked.
...reality. If the West Bank were outside of Israel's control, a concentrated push by a determined military force could split the Israeli heartland in two. The speed, surprise, and ferocity of the recent Hamas attack is precisely the threat that can undo the existence of Israel. In the coastal plain, the loss of a single hill, corridor, or plateau can have the harshest consequences, especially with modern weaponry. Missiles fired from the West Bank could reach Tel Aviv in a matter of seconds. There is no defense against such a threat. No amount of layers in air defense can secure a gap as small as 14 kilometers. This lack of strategic depth in its heartland is the single most defining geographic feature of Israel. It is the reason why Israel occupied the West Bank and is unlikely ever to let go, regardless of what international law says. Slightly to the north rests Israel's second most distinctive region, an area known as the Galilee. Known for its hilly and mountainous terrain, the Galilee features the Jordan River and the Sea of Galilee. The water basins in this region run deep, and by use of advanced technology and sophisticated irrigation techniques, Israel has employed the local water resources to turn the Galilee into an agricultural and manufacturing hub. This remarkable transformation provides Israel with the necessary food security it so desperately needs. Not surprisingly, the Galilee holds enormous strategic value for Israel's economy. Without it, the country wouldn't be the same. A little to the north are Lebanon and Syria. They make for Israel's northern flank, with Jordan straddling along the eastern edge. In this densely crowded and hostile neighborhood, controlling the high ground is a matter of life or death. Legal or not, Israel controls the nearby heights, which gives it a tactical advantage over the periphery. By towering over its rivals, the Israeli army can stand its ground against numerically superior forces. For instance, from atop the Golan Heights, long-range artillery can inflict tremendous damage on any threat coming from Syria and Lebanon. The same argument is true for the other occupied heights. By controlling the high ground along the Jordan River, Israel can ensure the security of its eastern flank. So, although there is no legal validity to Israel's occupation of these strategic heights, without them, the State of Israel would be just one breath away from total destruction. Ergo, for the Israelis, a few angry resolutions at the United Nations are worth the strategic depth that the occupied territories provide. Remotely to the south is the third distinctive region, the Negev Desert. It is vast, arid, and sparsely populated. The Negev hosts only two notable locations, Eilat and Gaza, both located on the outskirts of the region.
Eilat is like a sort of people that go swimming in the sea and shit.
At the southern tip sits the port city of Eilat. It is Israel's sole access point to the Red Sea and from there to global markets. Although Eilat sits outside the Israeli heartland, its strategic value is indispensable to the country overall. Its port allows the Israeli economy to bypass potential naval blockades in the Mediterranean should such a situation ever come to pass. Meanwhile, at the western tip of the Negev and adjacent to the Sinai Peninsula is the Gaza Strip. The terrain here is not dry, but Gaza falls under the same geographic definition nevertheless. The Strip is home to the Palestinians, with Gaza City marking its capital. The northern half of the Gaza Strip is one of the most densely populated places on Earth. However, the area holds little strategic value, and so it serves as a place of poverty and neglect. The humanitarian situation is made worse due to the restriction imposed by the Israeli government, which wants to restrain the flow of arms into the region. Either way, as a result of this abandonment, extremist ideologies and militias have taken root in Gaza. To the dismay of many, including the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, Hamas runs the show in the Gaza Strip.
Ooh.
Elsewhere in the Negev, the region borders Egypt and Jordan, with Saudi Arabia located not too far away. The Egyptian front is especially worth mentioning, as the Negev Desert is directly connected to the Sinai Peninsula. The latter act simultaneously as a deterrent and a security risk. While the arid terrain of the Sinai has historically hindered the movement of armies due to supply restrictions, modern technology can overcome it. Should a sizable force cross through the Sinai Desert, it would have a high degree of maneuverability in reaching the Israeli heartland. This threat, moreover, does not exclusively come from the Egyptians. The Sinai is an area difficult to control, even more so than the Negev.
I didn't know the Sinai was this bumpy. What the fuck? I did wonder, yeah. I can kind of see why Israel wasn't really that keen to hold on to this.
And so it serves as a shelter for heavily armed non-state actors. So, besides apprehensions over Egypt, the Israelis must also handle jihadists, smugglers, and dissidents who are using the Sinai as a safe haven.
Isn't this also where Hamas get a lot of their tunnels going to the Sinai, don't they, to get supplies smuggled over?
Ordinarily, nations can resolve their security shortcomings by forming alliances or multilateral agreements. Compromises can be made so long as the intentions are sincere. For Jerusalem, however, friends are few and far, and whatever treaties exist would be annulled at the first sign of opportunity. Should any of the Arab nations sense weakness on the Israeli part, they would likely act on it. That is precisely what happened in 1948 when Israel declared its independence from the British Mandate. Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen officially entered the conflict.
Many countries.
In each of Israel's distinctive regions, worst-case scenarios unraveled. Egypt crossed the Negev Desert in the first few days of fighting. In the Galilee, Syria used the Golan Heights to bombard Israeli settlements before launching its own invasion. Meanwhile, the Israeli heartland, namely the area surrounding Jerusalem, was under attack by the Jordanian Arab Legion. Still, not all Arab nations taking part in the conflict were equally committed, and the Israelis used that to their advantage.
Yeah, remember, Jordan and Israel, before the fight for Jerusalem, Jordan and Israel had a secret pact where Jordan was going to take the West Bank and they would leave each other alone, but then I think Jordan went for East Jerusalem and then Israel took the West. Palestinians did not have that many friends in the yeah.
Through a combination of tactical excellence on the Israeli part and
this was the Israeli-Arab War, 48. The Nakba, that's what this one was.
incompetence on the Arab part, Israel managed to secure an unlikely victory. However, that victory in 1948 was incomplete. So, Israel began a process of solidifying its borders and searched for other means of deterrence, such as its nuclear missile program in the 1950s and 1960s. However, the neighboring states would not let go, and they could not. At the time, the Palestinian refugee crisis had reached its boiling point and triggered a wave of pan-Arab nationalism across the wider region. All the Arab nations began boosting their armies, and a new round of hostilities seemed inevitable. In 1967, that conflict came true, and it spilled over across all of Israel's distinctive geographic regions. Egyptian forces crossed from the west into the Negev desert, while Jordanian units launched attacks in Jerusalem from the east. Syria, meanwhile, launched artillery strikes.
Israel and Transjordan divided up Palestine like it's Poland in 39. Maybe it wasn't quite that amicable, because they did fight in Jerusalem, but yeah, more or less. Because King Abdullah did not want to live next door to al-Husseini. At least I think that's what I read about part of his reasoning.
Against Israeli settlements in the Galilee region, and Lebanon conducted air raids on Israeli positions in the north. As unlikely as it seemed, that war resulted in yet another decisive Israeli victory, with Israel capturing all the strategic territories and heights, including the West Bank, Gaza, and the Golan Heights. By doing so, Israel created strategic depth for its heartland in Gush Dan. But Israel's victory on the battlefield had also demoralized the Arab governments to such an extent that it ushered in an era of instability in the Arab world. In turn, this gave the Israelis even more breathing room and diplomatic flexibility. More importantly, the victory in 1967 opened the door for a strategic partnership between Israel and the United States. Prior to this, Jerusalem and Washington had casual relations, but the Soviet support for the Arab states in the Six-Day War pushed Israel closer to the American camp. This newfound relationship would go on to be instrumental in bolstering Israel's national security. However, Israel's newfound triumph came with strings attached. Some of the territories acquired by Israel in the 1967 war were not under Israeli sovereignty. Moreover, the newly captured Gaza Strip and West Bank were populated by Palestinians who were anything but loyal to the Israeli state. This created a new crisis for Israel, a crisis that has lasted to the present day. Some 3 million Palestinians live in the West Bank, and 2 million more live in the Gaza Strip. In theory, a negotiated deal could see Israel live peacefully with its neighbors, including an independent Palestinian state. But theory is not good enough. The bad blood between Israelis and Palestinians runs deep, so much so that it is unlikely to fade away with the stroke of a pen. The Israelis believe that even if a peace agreement is signed, fundamentalist rhetoric like "from the river to the sea" will persist, implying a complete Arab takeover of Israel. After numerous existential conflicts with its neighbors, Israel is unlikely to...
So he's on the river to the sea bad slogan train, I see. Okay.
let go of the strategic...
Destiny is determined to beat your 75%. Uh-oh. I mean, I guess I can just play again, can I?
Don't care, okay.
heights
Zambia.
surrounding the West Bank. Mistrust isn't the only grievance preventing a peace deal. Even if both the Israeli and Palestinian leadership took a leap of faith and agreed to a negotiated peace deal, regional powers like Iran could still employ non-state actors to ruin the peace. It would be as easy as smuggling in...
I don't know, guys. You've got about 5 minutes to fund a veto, okay? Let's go.
weapons and provoking a false flag crisis. From the Israeli perspective, the Arabs and the Iranians can't be trusted. Therefore, conceding the occupied territories such as the West Bank and the Golan Heights would achieve nothing but leave Israel exposed and vulnerable to military threats. Ergo, to ensure its survival, Israel places trust in weapons and geography rather than treaties and promises. Stemming from this, Israel is willing to violate international law and pursue a preemptive policy so long as it achieves whatever strategic objective it deems necessary.
That's why they violate ceasefires in fucking Gaza. Yeah, okay.
The occupation of the West Bank and the resulting subjugation of Palestinians is the outcome of that unfortunate geopolitical duality. But Israel cannot let go of the West Bank for strategic reasons. Initially, Israeli policymakers dealt with the issue by encouraging the...
When Israel violated a ceasefire in Gaza, I feel like, wasn't there that whole chart of Israel violating ceasefires, usually to hit like a tunnel or some shit near the border? You can argue whether or not it's justified, but it's still a violation. Let me see. Let me look at 2008. Never saw it. Here's one. 6-month ceasefire ended when the IDF made a raid into Deir al-Balah, central Gaza, to destroy a tunnel. Preemptive strike. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is why people give you those charts of Israel breaks more ceasefires than Hamas. Yeah, it's usually because because they call it preemptive. Yeah.
Establishment of Israeli settlements in the occupied territories. By changing the demographics and placing Israeli civilians in certain areas, Tel Aviv sought to cement its control over the territories, regardless of their legal nature. Under this approach, Israel designated certain regions of the West Bank for Jewish settlement, which is how Area C came into being. All Israeli settlements in the West Bank, all 127 of them, are located in this tightly confined space. Area C is now home to some 450,000 Israelis, but when also accounting for the illegal settlements, the Israeli population in the West Bank could be as high as 700,000. Either way, roughly 60% of the West Bank falls under Area C and is directly controlled by the State of Israel. However, since Israel has not formally annexed the West Bank, Jewish settlements in the territory are not considered by Israel to be under its sovereignty. So to exercise its authority over the West Bank, every 5 years, Israel renews emergency regulations to legally extend Israeli criminal and some civil laws to Israeli citizens in the West Bank. This way of slow, incremental encroachment into Palestinian territory is aimed at breaking the contiguity of Palestinian population centers in the West Bank. And by systematically disrupting Palestinian contiguity, a viable Palestinian state becomes less and less viable. On the other hand, Israel's settler program fuels violence and impedes Palestinian access to their land and resources. Moreover, it harms the negotiation process for securing a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So much so that in recent years, Israeli lawmakers have prioritized the one-state solution instead. However, Palestinian birth rates are much higher than the Israeli stats. This is how the population pyramid looks like as of 2023, and this is how it looks like for countries of similar income. Israelis cannot compete with these numbers. So, even when employing the one-state solution, Israel will face a rapidly growing Palestinian population within that calculus. The future of the West Bank is uncertain. The Israelis believe they'll cross that bridge when they come to it. One thing we do know, no fix will meet the terms set by both sides. Overall, Israel is like a fortress.
Is this a pro-Israel video? It's a pretty neutral video. Yeah.
Under siege. It enjoys a strategic relationship with the United States, which empowers its diplomatic, economic, and military elbow. At the same time, grave dangers lurk in Syria, Lebanon, and the non-state actors that reside there. The only way to hold the fort is by towering over the competition. Israel needs to control the nearby strategic heights if it is to exist. Deoccupation is possible, but only in areas of lower elevation. Going back to the exact 1967 borders is practically impossible. Doing so would subject the Israeli heartland to devastating rocket and artillery barrage and risk splitting the country in two. In light of this, for the Israelis, the tactical and strategic edge offered by the occupied territories more than makes up for a few disapproving resolutions at the United Nations. Small in size and vulnerable, Israel's future is shrouded in uncertainty. Every so often, sparks turn into flame, conflicts go hot, and the country is thrown into uncharted territory. But the Israelis are cut from an old cloth. Their secret weapon is that they have no place to go, and so they might as well put up a fight. I've been your host Shirvan from Caspian Report, so if you haven't yet subscribed, now is a good time to do so. Just remember to click the bell icon, otherwise you'll still be missing.
What's the book, Little Joel? Was apparently Gaza, Hamas broke the ceasefire first, and then that's why Israel. Okay. I'm pretty sure there's that chart that people share around which says Israel breaks more ceasefires than Hamas, but that would make sense because when Israel breaks a ceasefire, they hit like a Hamas tunnel or something, and Hamas, when they break a ceasefire, they fire rockets indiscriminately. So yeah, the book was The 100 Years War in Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. It's Other Factions in Gaza. Okay. Yeah, it was a good video. It was a bit more from Israel's perspective, definitely, but yeah. It's a doomer position, isn't it? Basically saying it's unsolvable. Wow. Channel name, Caspian Report. Yeah, they're a good channel. Okay.
Loner box, you smarmy cuck bastard.
And with the 199, thanks very much. Has Caspian Report appeared on anyone's streams? I don't know. They're a big group. They've got like an editor, they've got a script writer, they've got like a whole gang, I think. If you look at the credits of their videos, let me see. See what they're saying. They're a big channel, 1.4 million subscribers, and they pump out a lot of videos. Bitcoin. Ooh. Don't they say usually like the credits, or is that right at the end? Yeah, look at this. So they have a production person, they've got research, they've got copy editing, animations, audio, footage. I guess the audio, they just grab it and paste it in, I'd imagine. So, yeah. They're pretty busy channel. It's all the same person though. Oh yeah, fuck, I'm so stupid. So there's the production by one person and the animations by someone else. Okay, got you. All right. 2 people. I thought it was a whole gang. Why is he doing that? Why are you putting your name 3 times, you fucking weirdo? All right, God. So if Israel gives up the highlands, they'll be destroyed for sure with rockets. Well, that's why whenever they proposed the 2-state solution, it had like a bunch of security measures that were very intrusive, right? Yeah. So I think to them, I think a contiguous Palestinian state, like an actual sovereign state, is quite intimidating for Israel, which is probably why the offers tend to be less than that. So, yeah. Blind bot, I know, right? I'm so tired today. I don't know why. I mean, I know I haven't slept very well in the last 2 days, but God damn it. I'm trying to get through, you know? I'm trying to survive here. What am I looking for? Zizek on Politics Joe. Where did I just put it? Fuck. Where is my Slavoj Zizek? What? What was the far right protest? I already did it. Destiny just got 82%.
Now,
okay. Them's fighting words. I see. I see. I will succeed.
appear as the opposite poles are really playing a very similar game. What I fear terribly is that in the long term, all sides will be losers. Now is the moment for Israel.
Oh, this music's so sweet.
Annihilate Hamas, but at the same time, reach out to Palestinians, giving them some kind of a clear program of hope.
Slavoj Zizek, welcome back to Politics Joe. For those unfamiliar with who you are, how would you like to introduce yourself?
Like that.
Now comes a surprise. I still advocate communism. But what kind of communism? A German journalist asked me what kind of communist you are, and I gave an answer, a moderately conservative communist. By moderately conservative, I mean something very precise. You know, what bothers me with some leftist liberals, they make big plans, you know, let's do this, new legislation and so on, but not with Rishi Sunak kind, but with authentic, their endangered species today. Old conservatives, what even Lenin and Mao admired in them is this brutal realism, you know, in the sense of, yes, we can do
we're
this,
on a roll.
but you think like crazy about what will be the consequences. If we screw that other thing and so on and so on, because isn't the standard even radical leftist game? Then you, of course, cause a catastrophe and then you blame the enemy. You know, it's like what I call, sadly, in Africa, the Mugabe game. You screw it up and then you blame, because secretly the whites still control everything. And what is really breaking my heart is that now South Africa is approaching the same. So by moderately conservative, I mean...
Well, I don't really, I mean, the EFF have what, like 10, 11% of the vote? It's probably a bit while to go, yeah.
Simply, before you act, think well about all possible consequences, because social life, here I am very pessimist, not traditional Marxist.
Which one's Trinidad and Tobago? It's not the very bottom one, is it? Or is it this one? Ooh, okay.
Is obscure, non-transparent, complex. You never know what the actual result would be. So now you can counterattack me, but why then communist at all? To give you a very short answer.
Yeah, very short, please. Let's go.
Not a communism of joy, abundance. It's a sad, pessimist communism. Look, we are facing now 3, 4, 5, I cannot even nominate them all, real apocalyptic threats. War, immigration, ecological threat, artificial intelligence. And I don't see any other way to cope with this than what I provocatively call war communism. An emergency state where I'm not talking about world government and state taking over. That would be a catastrophe, even worse. But
Kiribati, I think. Oh, fuck, if I remember this one. I think we're about to get our first miss, guys. We're at 100% now. I think Kiribati's this one. But I can't be sure. Which ones do I remember? None. This is Tuvalu, I think. Samoa. Tonga. Okay, there we go. All right.
some kind of global international cooperation, not just this aesthetic cooperation, yes, we must understand each other, but more forceful cooperation.
Wait, was Tuvalu this one? Oh, God. Oh, for fuck. Okay, we got it. All right, we're fine.
Will be necessary. Now, when people tell me, oh, but this is total utopia, I tell them, sorry, remember COVID. Even Trump had to do measures which come very close to what I call communism. You remember every family got a check for $2,000 and so on.
Stimulus checks.
Yeah, yeah. And you remember how half a year before, if you were to make...
Why don't have I forgotten where fucking Thailand is, Lorna? Okay.
Mention an idea like this, all the neoliberals would say, no, this would mean ruin of our economy. No, it didn't. The good point about COVID epidemics was that it was made clear how much we can play with the market, do things independently of the market, and they don't necessarily ruin the economy. So again, communist, it means I sincerely don't see how to cope with the problems, threats that are on the horizon, without a much stronger collective collaboration, well beyond the limits of the sovereign nation state. Just to conclude, please allow me this. My example that I mention all the time. You remember 2.5 years ago, that crazy hot summer where northwest of United States, southwest of Canada, Seattle, Vancouver, 50 degrees Celsius. It was warmer than Mumbai or Emirates. You cannot say they should take care more of ecology. No, these are rich parts of the world. They did the proper measures. The problem is that the whole circulation of air around the North Pole is disturbed. So in this sense, I'm a communist in the sense of we have to prepare to some emergency state. Precisely because if we don't do it in a transparent, democratic way, then better not to think what can happen. But again, moderately conservative. Be careful about the consequences. I hate, again, this traditional leftist game of, imperialism still controls us and so on.
So the reason we're talking is because of this book, What Lies Ahead When There Is No Future.
Republic of the Congo.
Threats you mentioned there, war, climate catastrophe, those things of that nature, that it's important that we have to conceptualize and understand these catastrophes in order to avert them. Most recently, and I think the most prominent example of any of those currently, is the war in Israel, the bombing of Gaza. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about how we need to conceptualize...
I'm never going to remember where fucking Comoros was, am I? It's in Africa somewhere, but
that conflict in order to understand it and in order to avert the possible catastrophe that it contains, as you outline in the book.
It's the question which I'm almost afraid to answer because it's all the time on my mind. Maybe you or some of our viewers know it. 2 weeks ago, I was in Frankfurt Book Fair and I practically caused a scandal addressing this issue. All the big media.
Why don't I know which one Montenegro is in this context? Oh, it's the small one. Okay.
Big daily newspapers attack me as practically anti-Semitic, supporting terrorists, although the first sentence of my speech was Hamas did a horrible crime, Israel has the right to annihilate it, and all my But we all know that in the background there is the unresolved status of the Palestinians. There are over 4 million people on the West Bank, in Gaza, in Israel itself, in East Jerusalem, and they live in, I cannot call it ontological limbo. It's not clear what they are. Even the name of the territory is not clear. Is it as is for the hardline Zionists? Is it Judea and Samaria? Is it Palestine? Is it West Bank or whatever? And these people are in a horrible position. And without justifying the brutal Hamas attack, I condemned it ruthlessly. Now, maybe you cut out if you want this. Let me tell you a story which really hit me. I'm in close contact with Palestinians and with West Bank, and not only West Bank Jews. And they told me, you know why some of them, leftists especially, were so hurt by the Hamas attack? Because that area of that famous, terrible rave party where Hamas was doing the murdering at a kibbutz there. Do you know that these were, I don't know them, but I know people who knew people who were massacred them. These were the most progressive Jews. They all the time had contact with Gaza, helping them, hiring them to help them.
Taking them to hospital and things like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And this tells a lot about why did Hamas attack there. Not only because it was most practical, but unfortunately, because the real aim of this attack was to eternalize war, to prevent any possibility for decades of peace. And it's breathtaking how, with all absolutely unambiguous condemnation of Hamas, when I just said, but can't you see the terrible predicament of Palestinians who are now in one or another way under Israeli control? They are now explicitly not treated as a second-class citizens, a whole series of things they cannot do and so on. And as I always mention this name, if you want a symbol of what Israel is doing now, Israel the state, I mean just the government now, remember the name Itamar Ben-Gvir, who was 20 years ago or when, condemned by Israeli courts as a potential terrorist, racist, and so on. This guy is now, it sounds like a bad joke. This guy is now Minister for Public Security or whatever.
Oh God, why
and
did I just...
I learned this from friends on the West Bank, how public order is falling around, settlers attacking. It's slow but continuous ethnic cleansing. I think that what horrifies me is there are two narratives, opposed, radical, which in an uncanny, terrifying way echo each other.
Fuck Cameroon. What a shithole. Hey! Got it.
On the one hand, I agree. There is the Hamas narrative, their leader, Haniyeh, who said, message to Israel, go out, we will kill you if you remain, you don't belong here. But then if you look at the first principle officially published of the new Netanyahu government is all of Jewish land, they exclude Judea, Samaria, Golan Heights and so on, is exclusively a Jewish land. So it's symmetrical idea of there is no place for the other. So I think that the key point here is not to fall into this trap of Palestinians versus Israeli, but to see how those who now appear as the opposite poles are really playing a very similar game. And then I did something, let's not lose too much time, which caused even more of a scandal. I warned them that there is in the West in the Western anti-Semitism a long tradition, I'm not inventing crazy terms, of, you cannot but call it
Is he going to say it's like Zionist anti-Semitism, like the Christians?
Zionist anti-Semitism. Do you remember that guy who shot 80, 90 Norwegian leftists, Breivik?
Yeah.
He said, here we have too many Jews, throw them out. But Israel, it's a war against Oriental barbarism, we should fully support Israel. You know who began this? I couldn't believe it. Reinhard Heydrich, the father of the Holocaust.
I don't know if this Hydra quote is real. He gives the same talking points a lot.
He wrote,
Slovenia,
quote,
that's where he's
I
from.
don't know if it's in this book or another, there are two types of Jews. Integration Jews who wants to blend into our society, and Zionist Jews. These Jews who wants to integrate into our society, we have to get rid of them. But if Jews move to Palestine, we could have wonderful collaboration of them and so on and so on. And the same thing goes on now. Trump is doing the same. Trump supports Israel there, but in the United States, you know, Proud Boys and so on, he is supported by explicitly anti-Semitic again. So I will conclude quickly just with one point, which is important. I think to understand properly the ongoing war, it's to take into account its catastrophic effect in Israel itself. There was a moment of hope in Israel a couple of months ago. You remember that big conflict, hundreds of thousands of people opposing this new legislation, which basically abolishes the independent legal structure and so on. And this war now serves perfectly Netanyahu government. Now we forget about that and so on and so on. So what I fear terribly is that in the long term, all sides will be losers. In the sense that I am very sensitive apropos anti-Semitism. I recognize it whatever it is. And I think the first thing that will happen is anti-Semitism was still now mostly European and a little bit Middle East, but mostly European-American phenomenon. Now, anti-Semitism will become a worldwide movement in a totally disgusting way. It will be a new link in this series of what I call unholy alliances. For example, you remember what happened in Uganda half a year ago, I think, where their parliament, democratically, of course, imposed the...
I should know where the fucking Malawi is. Is it this one? No, that's Uganda. Malawi is... Why... This one? This is Angola. Zimbabwe. Oh.
Most terrifying anti-gay law. If you are caught in homosexual act, the punishment can be death. But you know how they justified it?
Uganda,
a struggle against colonialism. And what I am so afraid is that anti-Semitism will be included into this series. Like, to be anti-Semitic means to be for the third world suffering nations and so on. This will be a catastrophe. Even if in the short term Israel wins there, and I think this was the idea of Hamas. We may lose here, not they will escape, the ordinary people, but it will give birth to such a new way of anti-Semitism, not only in the Arab world, then the game Putin is playing here, who is counting on this equation. Israel is like...
Which one's Liberia? Oh, God, it's one of these fucks. This is Ivory Coast? Hey! Wait, which one's Ivory Coast? This is... Hey, okay, go on.
Ukraine, a colonialist, Western-dominated nation, and so on and so on. This is quite catastrophic. The only hope I see, there are reasonable voices, I'm in contact with them. Although we are politically not on the same side, and he doesn't go far enough. But
Toronto's land.
For example, Yuval Harari, that guy, Homo Dewa, he said something which is very important. He said, there is no peace in the Middle East without Palestinians
I think I'm gonna get fucked.
being allowed to live free, dignified life in their homeland. He meant West Bank.
83. Damn, I thought Destiny got 85. Fuck. Didn't you say you got 85? How did you get 85? That's pretty good. Shit. He got 82. No way. Okay. He's on a 100% run at the moment, is he?
So Niger is here.
Niger.
Rwanda.
All right, let's just keep chugging.
And so on. And it's very important that you use the term in their homeland. This is also their home. So it's too utopian, but now it is growing stronger in Israel.
Wait, I need to remember these fucks down here. So Tonga, Samoa, Kiribati. Tonga, Kiribati, Federated State. Okay. Should I just keep going? I feel like I'll just learn by example.
This idea for which I was attacked as an anti-Semitic in all left Israeli media, you find it now, that now is the moment for Israel, annihilate Hamas, but at the same time reach out to Palestinians, giving them some kind of a...
But there's no way I've already forgotten where fucking Belize is. I think it's over here, isn't it? This? Oh, thank God. All right.
Clear program of hope. Listen, here we can make a deal, you can live safely here, and so on and so on.
To continue the theme of catastrophe, you've also described the Western response to the conflict as a moral catastrophe.
Tanzania.
Could you talk about that a little bit more?
The problem was that now it's getting more mixed. But this, you know, I was interrupted in my Frankfurt speech because the basic problem was, but I even didn't use
okay, good.
The word but, like I condemn Hamas, but. And as somebody says at the end of the debate, the word but should be prohibited now. Another word that should be prohibited, I was informed, is complex situation. No, there is only one side, it's absolutely clear. And you know where I see a moral catastrophe? Now, I'm sorry if I will become sound anti-German. I don't mean all of Germany. I mean the predominant stance in politics now. It's this one. Germans admit they did the Holocaust. And now, by pursuing radically pro-Israeli politics, they do something disgusting, I think. They think that by supporting Israel, where Israel is not right, West Bank and so on, they will somehow pay their debt for the Holocaust and so on. I find this something...
East Timor, Brunei, Malaysia. Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore. Brunei is this one, right? Fuck. Oh well.
So terribly immoral. Another thing that I find immoral is also, and at multiple levels, and I here only quote Yuval Harari.
Fucking Sierra Leone. I hate these ones. I'm really bad at them. This is Liberia, right? Okay, good. Malta. No, that was Cyprus, Lonerball. You fucking idiot. Okay.
And all of them. This is for me the true moral catastrophe where you posit a choice. Either you speak about Israeli victims or you speak about Palestinian victims in Gaza. If you mention Palestinian victims, you are already anti-Semitic. And so on and so on. My
Dominica? Wait. This is Dominica. This is Barbados. Neither of these ones are. This is St. Kitts and Vincent and the Grenadines. Grenada. It's that one right in the middle. Okay, well done. This is not going to be a good run. Bolivia.
Insight here is, that's why I think it's a moral catastrophe, that
Cambodia.
Those Zionist Israelis who mention in today's situation Holocaust are doing a terrifying, disrespectful exploitation of Holocaust itself. Holocaust, a terrifying, unimaginable crime. They use it as a stake, a jeton, to justify their politics now.
One of these.
That's why I think that, and did you notice this detail? That's why so many people attacked me. I was very restrained and careful in my Frankfurt speech. All the positive people I quoted were Jews, even Moshe Dayan, who how much more refreshing it's now to read the first generation, Ben Gurion, Dayanai, who didn't play the game, this is our land, blah, blah, blah. No, they said it's an impossible conflict, we know nobody is right, and so on. Not to mention Simon Wiesenthal, not to mention my true ethical hero. If there is a person to whom I would give, maybe, please, to our listeners, check it on Wikipedia, wherever, is Marek Edelman. It's a Polish Jew mega hero. He was a Bundist, more socialist Jew. He was one of the key organizers of the ghetto uprising, 43 in Warsaw. Magically, he survived it. Then he was one of the key organizers of the Warsaw uprising, 44. Magically, he survived it. Then he remained in Poland, and he gave a wonderful theoretical explanation when later anti-Semitism under communism emerged again. He stayed there. And he provided a beautiful metaphor. He said,
St. Kitts. Oh, God, I thought I had this one.
It's not what I'm saying,
Wait. Okay.
Imagine me as a stone in Auschwitz. Somebody has to be here to embody, not to talk about that
Marshall
memory.
Islands.
And at the end of the slide, he wrote a letter to my Palestinian friends, where he said, I support your rebellion against Israel, of course, condemning all Palestinian violence. There is a great Jewish tradition, which is incredible. That's why I don't like this Western, this is the most disgusting, Western position, anti-Semitic Zionist of not too many Jews here, but you go there and protect our civilization. No, I like Jews here also. Wherever they are, they make a great contribution to our civilization and so on. Look, precisely because they were stateless, we cannot even imagine European modernity, enlightenment and so on without
I think I was doing fine, but then I just
the
lost
very
my shit.
idea of enlightenment universalism.
What is this? I'm going to take a break and then we'll start again, okay? What is this?
I do not align. Now, obviously, I do not align politically with Hamas. That's obvious. But I don't think there's ever been a more justified resistance in the history of humanity. Now, obviously,
he sounds like a fucking drunk guy at a bar. Now, obviously, I don't support Hamas, but this is a justified. Oh God. I'll tell you something else. Okay, well done. All right, let's get back to it. And let's actually succeed this time. Syria,
Came
that's easy.
from the
That's
Jews
here.
who
Surely.
simply
Luxembourg. Okay.
they were condemned to be universalist, you know. But you know where that
Oh my God,
sorry,
Nicaragua.
just one thing which may you
That's
know
Honduras.
Netanyahu and others, when you
Oh
ask
my
them why
God.
is
Okay.
that place, Palestine, yours?
Venezuela?
They said it's look at the Bible, it tells everything and so on. But in the most ironic case of cancel culture, mention the Bible and you will be excluded
Stop saying he got.
as anti-Semitic.
Are you guys lying about his score? I hate you guys.
Once
Fuck off.
I did this. In a debate in New York, I think some Jews said, but sorry, we are attached to our tradition, look at the Bible. So I told them, I quoted him, I said, yes, let's look at the Bible. You know, Moses, 40 years wandering around Sinai, then up on the mountain, Moses dies, he already sees the valley, and then Joshua takes over, and what to do. And God's voice tells him, Canaanites are down there, they are evil people, kill them all, men, women, children, and so on. So, you know, if I were a Jew, I wouldn't insist too much on the Bible, you know. But to avoid a misunderstanding, I'm not here condemning the Jews, because at that time, let's be frank, everybody was acting like this. We Slavs, from some Siberian steppes, I don't know where, how did we come to Europe? By invading it and so on. So I'm just saying that, in the same way that we talk about invented traditions, we should also treat our historical documents. And now I will make a very sad conclusion. I am very skeptical about this idea that originally religions are good, Islam, Judaism, Christianity. It's only in their political application that they are misused. No, you find a lot of horror and cheat already in the original. So I'm here much more of a pessimist. The lesson of this, I will conclude, sorry. The lesson of this is we are left to our own resources. In Lacanian terms, theoretical, there is no big other. By big other, I don't mean just God, but some global symbolic order which tells you what to do. No, we live in a very dangerous era where no reference to tradition or to science or whatever can tell us
Liberia? Okay, gotcha.
What to do.
I'd also, in the tradition of kind of, you know, emancipatory Judaism, encourage listeners to consult the Wikipedia of Dennis Goldberg, who was imprisoned on Robben Island, and actually separated. He was part of the anti-apartheid campaign in South Africa, and also imprisoned there with Mandela, but of course separated from him because of apartheid, and so was alone in prison for the same period of time.
Why? Because he was a Jew or what?
Because Mandela was black, right, and he was a Jew, he was white, so the
Jew was because no, I sorry to interrupt you. This may be I know the situation there very well. You know, even now in India, many people, some people, many don't know about me, hate me because I killed, or at least.
Why do I struggle with Dominican Republic? This is Honduras. What is this one? Isn't Dominican Republic one of the islands? Or is it? This is the Bahamas. Can't remember what those four are. What's this one? What the fuck? That's Jamaica. What's this one? Oh, God. Is it? This is Haiti. Hey!
Mind the respect for another sacred cow there, Gandhi.
Swaziland,
you know, when Gandhi was in India, yes, he fought against apartheid, but only for the Indian minority. Read Gandhi's texts, my friends, republish them now. He doesn't put in doubt the big separation, black, white. She just says we Indians should be counted
Papua New
as
Guinea?
white and so on. The second
Sweden.
thing, you see, this is what I mean moderately conservative. Maybe you read it, I think I already used this somewhere, a couple of months ago at Birkbeck College, where I'm temporarily
Nauru
employed.
is the middle one here,
There was
right?
a debate with a lady from...
Oh, is Nauru this one or this one? I think it's this middle one, yeah. Tuvalu is this one? Oh, shit. Which one's Tuvalu? That's Kiribati. Yeah, okay.
South Africa, hardline old
Kyrgyzstan's
ANC
here.
fighter.
Seychelles.
And I asked her a frank question. I asked...
Is it Seychelles and Mauritius? Yeah. Vanuatu. Oh, no. Samoa, Kiribati, Federated States of Micronesia, Samoa, that's this one. Okay.
Her in all our media, I read all the time about how South Africa is on the border of becoming on the edge of becoming a failed state, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to believe Western media. Please tell me, how do I reply to this? And I was almost crying, so sad. You know what she told me? She told me that more and more, the predominant
Grenada.
atmosphere
Ooh, that's one of these ones.
In the poor black majority, poor, is nostalgia for apartheid.
Yeah.
She said that now in memory, they remember apartheid as a time where, yes, they were second-class citizens, but if anything, the standard of living was the same, maybe a little bit even higher, for the poor black majority, plus it was a police state, which means there was safety. Now,
Israel,
society is disintegrating.
Honduras,
South Africa has one of the highest rape numbers per capita. You see, this is what I want the left to avoid. How these eternal stories, look at Latin America, Bolivia, but no, they did not do a white
Bolivia,
thing.
it's like Kavos
cut
says it.
diplomatic ties with Israel, but till now I believed in...
Why can I never forget if Benin is the smaller, the big one? Why? This is Togo, this is Benin. Yeah, okay. South Sudan?
Bolivia, because I was friendly with Vice President...
Is Costa Rica this one? Yeah.
President of Morales, Alvaro Garcia Linera, and so on. They were 12 years in power.
Lebanon.
Without scaring too much the capital.
Guinea.
They succeeded. The standard of living went up. And then you remember there was a coup d'etat against them, but they won again. So that's my moderate conservatism. How to avoid, I will name just 3 names, Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, where it was a catastrophe. The left has to ask very hard questions here. I don't want to be that comfortable leftist who organizes a revolution fails, and then you move back to your academic post and write a thick book how, because of the imperialist cunningness and plot, it had to fail the revolution. No, the left deserves some authentic success.
Can we interrogate a little bit
Vietnam?
more the role of violence in revolution, in liberation struggle, whether it's, as we were talking about the anti-apartheid campaign in South Africa, or, well, take any sort of struggle against injustice. The one we've been interrogating so far is obviously with Palestine and Israel.
Is that the top one or the middle one? What's the top one again? I feel the top one was like St. Kitts. Antigua and Barbuda. Fuck. Should have remembered that. St. Vincent. Okay, whatever. Belgium.
Is there an acceptable level of violence, to your mind, in a liberation struggle?
No. I'm not naive here. I know that in certain conditions...
That's a good question. I like these questions.
If nothing else, a certain level of violence, paradoxically, creates the conditions for a peaceful revolution. I forgot the guy's name. I'm old senile, but a guy a black guy, I think, wrote a wonderful book. I quote it, I forgot where, in some new text, where he says that, look, for example, at American
Uzbekistan
in the
Italy,
60s and so on,
Serbia.
struggle against racism.
Oh yeah, Thailand.
Yes, Martin Luther King won, but it also won because it was clear to the white majority there. If there is not a threat of violence behind, Luther King wouldn't be taken seriously. You know, you read it, it was the same in South Africa. Yes, Mandela won, but because the apartheid guys were well aware that there was a much more radical orientation within the ANC threatening with violence. The most tragic example here.
Has Zizek been watching the Loner Box videos? That's fucking crazy. Goddamn.
Let's look into history. Is Haiti.
Oh yeah,
where,
crazy.
I mean, the exploitation of Haiti till the Haiti Revolution around 1800 was breathtaking. Let's say that profits from Haiti brought to the French state more than half of its income. But what I want to say is this. Revolution won. The first generation to Saint-Louverture were very fair towards the whites.
Equatorial Guinea, is this one?
Freed slaves, but their main worry was to keep the production going,
Zimbabwe.
economic collapse to avoid. Then the French, Napoleon is here the bad guy.
Ghana.
Arrested to Saint-Louverture, brought him to France, and slowly killed him in an abandoned castle, blah, blah. Then the next generation were more radical, violent.
North Korea.
You know what they did?
South Korea.
They...
Why am I bad at Maldives? Why do I always forget where fucking Maldives is? It's this one, isn't it? Yeah.
I forgot his name, the successor of the Saint-Louverture. He
Jamaica.
simply
That's this?
gave an order to kill all white
Didn't actually know that one, but it
who
was
remained
against
there.
right?
With one
Austria.
exception, that's true. Poles,
Japan.
Polish people. You know the story. It's one of the most beautiful revolutionary legends. It again
Hungary.
makes me cry. When Napoleon sent an army to Haiti with a horrible order, kill all the blacks. He said, after the revolution, it's not just to enslave them again. Kill them all, bring new slaves. Then, when the French army was approaching the Haiti
Solomon
black
Islands.
army revolutionaries, they
Oh. Don't look at chat. Which one's the Solomon Islands? Fuck. Is it this one? What are the... I want to do this one, but I feel like... Hey.
They heard some singing, and they thought,
Paolo is
this
that
must
last
be
one.
some primitive African dances. When they come closer,
Isn't Bhutan one of the most like isolated countries in the world? And they have like a Nepalese minority. They get treated like shit there.
you know what they
Nigeria?
recognize? You know what? The
No,
black
Niger. Ooh.
freed slaves were singing, La Marseillaise.
Malawi?
And thousands of Polish soldiers said, wait a minute, are we here?
Wait, why don't I know what this is? Oh no, we're stuck. Wait, why do I remember what the fuck this is? This is Congo. This is either Congo. What the fuck is this? This is huge. It's Nigeria. Okay. Malawi I think is the skinny one here, right? Yeah, okay.
Here on the right side, and they changed sides. And so Napoleon won, but then the result of all this
Netherlands.
trauma was this terrifying order
Huge.
to kill
Russia.
all white
Germany.
people. Now you
Mauritius.
can say, you see, if you give them freedom, what happens.
Cambodia.
It's more complex, because at precisely this moment, the new black rulers took
Togo.
over, imitated
San Marino.
perfectly the French aristocratic system. They named counts
Malta.
and so on, you know. This violence served the establishment as a pure copy of
Burundi
European
is
feudal
the lower one?
aristocracy there. But Haiti
The Gambia?
nonetheless did something prohibited. And do you know that to be reintegrated into world economy, Haiti
React
had
hard. Thanks for
to
$2. React harder.
France
That's crazy, chat.
as for the damage
Absolutely
of lost property, slaves.
insane.
Throughout 19th century, it was at some point up to 80% its
Oh,
state
and Vincent's
budget.
the middle one.
You know when the last
lower.
money was paid to France? In 1947, I think. So it consciously they kept, but so I don't avoid your question. I would put it like this.
Vatican?
First, my limit is
Moldova.
if they are not well known as a gangster family or what, don't attack civilian population. Keep it to army. There, if the situation is really terrorist, I condone a limited amount of violence. But we should always be aware, again, of this ambiguity that, you know, you need a violent...
Bro, can we get 97%? Will it give me that? Will it push?
Wink, so that violence
Don't
should
think
be
so.
more used
Oh, we did,
as
yeah.
a threat
197.
to do the necessary
Hey!
compromise. That would be my formula.
You write in
But counterattack me. I want screw you. I mean, you just agree. Did I say anything that you don't agree? Please, I would like to.
It's actually funny.
Still lost. What did Destiny get? Did he get 98? He's at 98. No way. Fuck off. I made 2 really stupid mistakes at the beginning. Didn't I? I fucked up Angola, Ivory Coast. Oh, shit. Where are we at?
The Gambia.
Wait.
Yes. This V name, Austria. Here.
Are you guys trolling me? Oh, he just keeps restarting, doesn't he?
Is here. Burkina Faso is here. Ghana is here. Saudi Arabia is here. The Dominican Republic is here.
Vosh is a
Finland.
fucking god.
He was he practicing? That's 150, sure. But like, does he really just know all these? Bro, I didn't know half this shit before like 2 days ago.
Oh my god. Where is he here?
Made one here. Brazil. The V thing was over here.
Oh shit. How's he go?
Yemen,
Okay.
Luxembourg.
He's going fast. He's speed running.
I'm so triggered I missed that Guana one.
Yep.
Venezuela.
Guyana. Oh shit.
That just Cambodia's over.
Forever.
He must have been like 99%.
Is this Vosh with 99? Okay, what did he get?
100.
This is 98. Oh fuck. In 15 minutes.
I'll let you guys choose. Should I do it again? Do we go for 100?
Okay. If he's still going for 100, then we can do a race. Okay, that's fine.
Because
We're gonna be
large
fine.
parts of what you said I do agree with.
We're gonna
Fuck
take him
large
down.
parts. Go to small parts where you don't agree.
I think there has
Turkmenistan.
to be, you know, so let's interrogate
Oh god, that's
sort
hard.
of
Wait,
modern
yeah.
conflicts, the nature of modern conflict.
St.
It's
Lucia.
asymmetric,
Oh.
always. Whether it's the
Guatemala.
British and American imperial.
Why do I always fuck Guatemala? Oh god, is it this one? Hey, okay.
Forces in Afghanistan,
Belarus.
whether it's the Palestinians against the Israelis.
Yeah, but
And to
this
say,
case is a sorry,
and to
I'm
say
so cautious
that
though. Saudi.
the
Let's go
Palestinians
quick.
should confront the Israelis militarily.
Cuba.
It's essentially a death
Federated
sentence,
States.
isn't it? It's to say, yeah, and you can say, great, fantastic, morally justifiable, but completely ineffective as a tactic. And it makes me uncomfortable because what I'm essentially saying, the place I'm left in is essentially
India.
justifying the attack on
Kyrgyzstan.
civilians, which is something morally, ethically for me, I find deeply
Latvia.
distressing, deeply upsetting, but I
Egypt.
don't see any other way
Sao Tome and Principe
in terms
is
of, you know, an effective military campaign, an effective terrorist campaign, the
Yep.
use of limited violence to achieve political ends. You know, if they attack military bases, they will all die. So what else can they do if not kill the
Yeah,
civilians.
didn't get that last
And
time.
I find that deeply, deeply uncomfortable.
Vietnam?
Because
Yeah,
like
but
I said,
okay, now I will accept this
Croatia.
totally pragmatic, ruthless thinking. But shouldn't have then focus a little bit more on some
Bolivia.
effectively violent groups of
Why don't I just take the time to remember these ones? Sierra Leone is not the small one. That's like Liberia or oh fuck. Did this one? Yay. Okay, Guyana. Okay.
settlers or whatever,
Singapore.
and not precisely that part which was closest to.
Fuck, is it this one? Is this one Singapore and this one's, or is it the other way around? Singapore, fucking, and what's the other one called? There's Malaysia, Singapore. I think Singapore's here. The other one's, we'll get to it. Okay. If we will remember it when I see it.
To them, in some sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mongolia.
here I agree with you.
Nicaragua?
Let's begin by this. The situation is tragic in some sense.
Denmark.
You cannot propose a simple
Greenland as well,
solution and so like
Ecuador.
this is the formula and so on.
Myanmar?
No, I see your point, of course. But again, as you already pointed out, not only this means
Austria is
suicide for Palestinians, but in the long term,
Kiribati is the top one here.
such suicidal attacks
Oh, not Antigua and Barbuda.
eternalize
This one?
war, and I don't see then any
Fuck.
peaceful
It's the top one.
ANC,
Some
Mandela,
kids.
or whatever arising out of this and
All right, that's a bad
bringing
one.
peace. That's what horrifies me. You
Very
know,
bad.
I would
We're
even
fucked.
accept attacks. Here we agree.
Oh my
if
God,
there is
fucking
a hope
Syria,
for
Jordan. Oh,
that they
no
will
way.
serve the way the threat with violence was necessary to bring in Mandela, to bring in Martin Luther King, and so on.
Nicaragua.
Otherwise, I
Fucking
what
Gabon.
really, as friend of the Jews and of Palestinians, I
That was okay.
see-
That was three of the hardest ones for me that I always forget. Okay.
really it scares me
Spain?
again a new wave of anti-Semitism. It will.
Guinea.
I don't trust Zionists, but I also see very clearly anti-Semitism where there is one. And what horrifies me is this identification of that anti-Semitism as the result of this war will be elevated into one of the main markers of anti-colonial struggle. Although, you know, again, I like to complicate things. The Jewish side is not clean here. You know, I did something cunning. I read Theodor Herzl,
He's such a the way he talks is
founder
so
of
funny.
Zionism. You know that to whom good for his soul, he didn't send it. But you know that he wrote a letter to Cecil Rhodes,
Bahamas.
I did not know that.
asking him for advice, like, and would he invest money, is addressing him in terms of colonization. You colonized half of Africa, help us to colonize it there. Second thing,
Luxembourg.
he explicitly flirted, Herzl already, with the Western right, using these terms of today's right that a state of Israel, a Jewish
Nigeria.
state there, will beat an impregnable wall to protect Western Europe from Oriental
Bahrain.
barbarism. So
I keep
that's
forgetting
the
if Bahrain's the
mega
higher one. It
tragedy
is, yeah.
of Zionism. That
Malaysia.
what the greatest victims of European anti-Semitism chose the way to oppress others
Republic
there
of the
and
Congo,
got
not
caught
Democratic
into
Republic,
this way.
okay.
Here
Panama.
I hated Ahmadinejad, you know, the ex-president of Iran. I even at some point was prohibited to enter because there were some elections 10 years ago where
Israel.
Ahmadinejad won by cheating and so on, and I wrote some letters. But you know, when she said something that others also said, okay, Germans did something horrible, which Ahmadinejad didn't admit, but let's admit it, Holocaust. Isn't there something cheating in giving them the land in Wouldn't it be
Estonia?
normal for Germans Listen, end of World War II, you also have a lot of victims, which means empty land. Why don't you who killed 6 million Jews, give him, I don't know, the city of Hamburg and so on. You know, there is some cheating in it as if,
Oh,
you know, as
Paolo.
if I
that's this one. Okay, gotcha.
I
haven't got any of
borrow
these.
from
Fuck, that's
you
scary.
$1 billion, and then instead of
Jordan.
paying you back, I say, take that guy's
Cis
money.
Jordan.
You know, the situation is
this one.
desperately complex.
This one fucked with me. Hey, okay.
This is why this is not a pessimism. The starting point is there
Grenada's one of the lower ones. Okay, gotcha.
is no clean
Vietnam
solution here. And as you know, as well as the word but,
Palestine.
complex situation is a banned phrase in this conversation.
North
as you said at the
Macedonia.
beginning.
especially by this now rediscovered as totally pro-Israeli
Wait, what fucking one is Belize? Oh no, it's this tiny one up here, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
They, you know, an article in, I forgot which German daily newspaper attacking me.
Japan?
Mauritania? They put it as a title of their text. Hamas has no context. Like, it's madness. Like, you know, every mention of context is... But then I answered in, I think, quite... that even if we...
I don't remember Tuvalu. I don't remember Tuvalu at all. Kiribati? Samoa? Tonga? Which one's Tuvalu? Nauru? Federated States? Marshall Islands? Solomon Islands? Is this Tuvalu? Okay. Australia.
It's more complex. Just condemn Hamas. Of course, we should inquire into context because, for example, there are dozens, hundreds of books of the origins of Nazism.
Oh, which one's Fiji? Is it this one? Yeah. Oh, God, we're actually almost on 100, aren't we? We haven't missed one. Oh, God.
And it's clear that there was a crisis in Germany experienced by millions of people, economic crisis and so on. And Hitler profited from that crisis, offering a certain anti-Semitic narrative. And to many ordinary people, things were all of a sudden clear. You know.
Sierra Leone? Oh, no. The one I always fuck up on. Okay.
Like, now we know behind all of these are the Jews and so on.
Guatemala?
So here is a nice example of how contextualizing
I always fuck up that one.
doesn't mean justifying in
Trinidad
any way.
Tobago is the bottom one.
Evil can be radical, crazy evil, but it's always a product of certain circumstances. It exploded in certain circumstances. Like the same again in Haiti. The second generation who killed all the...
Kiribati. Is Samoa the middle? Oh, shit. Samoa is what... Okay. Whew. Belarus. I'm going quiet now because I'm like 87 with no misses. Botswana. Very well-to-do country. South Sudan. Sudan. That used to be one big country. Barbados. That's the one on the side. Ukraine. We never miss Ukraine. Imagine doing that. Kazakhstan. Big one. Monaco. That's not Monaco. This one's Monaco. Guyana on the left. Kiribati is up here. Cyprus. Mexico. South Korea. Latvia. The bloodstained fucking towel. That's what that's a bloodstained sheet. Whoa. Keep thinking I'm gonna slip my mouse. My hand's like sweating. Bhutan. Yemen. I don't like St. Lucia. One of these. Don't look at chat. Is it the middle one? Nope. Okay, missed one. Okay, Somalia. Marshall, oh, not Marshall Islands. Wait. Federated States. Tonga. Nauru. Solomon Islands. Okay. Iran. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is the one we fucked up. Below the middle one. Third from Maldives. El Salvador. Oh, is El Salvador the really small one? Or is it this one? This is Costa Rica. Okay. Greece. Azerbaijan. Chad. Swaziland. Haiti. Costa Rica. Seychelles is the higher one. Kuwait. Qatar. Mali. Myanmar. Federated States. Oh, not the Dominican Republic. This is the other half of Haiti. Okay, yeah. That island. Guinea-Bissau. Sao Tome and Principe. Turkmenistan. Whoop. Namibia. Zimbabwe. Burundi is the lower one. Venezuela. Still, there's got all of fucking South America to fill in. This might be Egypt. Liberia. Okay, we're getting the hang of that one. Bangladesh. Belgium. Togo. Very thin one. Yeah, okay. Albania. Solomon Islands. Ooh, wait. Suriname. Papua New Guinea. PNG. Mauritius. Lebanon. Eritrea. Iraq. Oh, Iraq's the big one. Hey, all right. Brazil. Philippines. UAE. Bosnia. Central African Republic. Honduras. Got it. Okay. I think the ones that really fuck with me are almost all gone. Ecuador. I just need to be careful. Benin. Benin's the smaller one. Yep. Madagascar. North Korea. Syria. Colombia. Colombia's the connector. That's how you remember that one. Armenia. Pakistan. Serbia. Tonga. That's Nauru. This is Tonga. St. Kitts and Nevis. That's the... Oh. Okay. Andorra. Peru. Dominica. Forgot that one existed. Nepal. Ghana is this one, the coast. Senegal. Burkina Faso. Rwanda, top. Ethiopia. South Africa. The Gambia. Czech Republic. Vanuatu is the one. Oh, this is the bottom left, okay. Switzerland. Brunei is the leftover one, small one here. Croatia. Georgia. Uruguay. Nauru, that's the little square one. That's where refugees get fucking abused. Zambia. Russia. Turkey. Paraguay. Vatican. Argentina. Chile. Lesotho. Jamaica. DCR. Laos. UK. Okay. That's all right for now. For today. He doesn't know he already lost. What? Oh, did Destiny get his 100? No way. Fuck off.
The Dominican Republic.
Oh no,
Haiti,
fucking
Slovakia,
dipshit. Fuck's
Saudi
sake.
Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, Serbia. Okay.
Fuck's sake. Oh well. What was the one I missed? It was the one down. That was. I wanted to review it. The one I missed was this fucker, wasn't it? St. Lucia. That counts. Okay. Damn. You were faster though. Yeah, well. What can you do? I missed St. Lucia. I got it back to front. So I can learn this area. Are they going to show me? Oh yeah, you can learn the hard ones. Okay, play. Panama. No, this isn't me learning. This is just all of them. I wanted to learn. Fuck. Whatever.
The white people. Yes, I agree it was horrible. But let's take a look at how...
You win the any percent speed run. Yeah. Well. Oh, I have a debate at 8 p.m. Eastern. Nice.
breathtaking the exploitation in Haiti was. Okay. I will not go on. I talk too much.
No,
Please.
not at all. Not at all. I think there's one other sort of area I'd like to explore on Israel-Palestine before we maybe move to...
Sorry.
That's a terrible omen, isn't
no,
it?
No, it's good. Leave it there. Leave it there.
That's where it belongs, face down on the floor.
Yeah. No, I'm always cynical against myself. Is that, or to put it in more humanist terms, books are dead objects. We talk like humans.
Okay, so between the two extremes, the two totalitarian positions that we've discussed, the one of Hamas and the one of Ben-Gvir and Smotrich.
Not gonna lie, guys, I feel intellectually outpaced. Fuck's sake. Thought 99 was a banger with one miss. Ugh. Oh well.
That sort of
Smotrich, yes, he is the other
hard right Zionist position.
But it's not just only Zionist. Let's be statistic. Is that their solution is this land is only ours. There is no place for
exactly this sort of greater Israel idea, right?
Yeah.
The expulsion of the Palestinians from Gaza. And if you look at demographic changes happening in Israel, the younger generation skew much more to that extreme right-wing politics. They skew much more towards the politics of the likes of Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. And that surely means looking to the future, whether there's a solution, whether, without sounding like Tony Blair, a third way somewhere in between those two total extreme poles.
Sniffs.
Because the Israeli population electorally is going to move towards that extreme. So, if anything, the prospect of peace and a lasting peace seems further away than perhaps it ever has been.
First, I would say something that may surprise you. I read a good analysis, leftist analysis, of the situation in France and Belgium. And they discovered the same thing there among these, I don't like the terms, quotation marks, pro-terrorist Arab immigrants. So it's not that we were not open enough to integrate them. No. Most of this young generation of terrorists who did that concert hall bombing, remember a couple of years ago in Paris. And
the Bataclan,
Yeah. Do you know that they are second generation? It's the same paradox, that the older generation, their parents, were much better integrated into French society. So then the second thing one has to mention, I'm sorry if it will sound racist, is that a lot of this younger generation are East European Jews who are from Russia and other East European countries who tend to be much more aggressive racist than the first generation. There really is something very dark. This is the true dark side of the East European till 89 communism. For example, maybe you know the story, I spoke with a German dissident, I don't like him too much, but okay, he was well known, Wolf Biermann, a singer who emigrated to the West, friend of Brecht and so on. And he told me that in early 90s, immediately after the reunification, he went to some big ecological meeting in ex-East Germany, and there was there a strong group of, well, to call them by their name, neo-Nazi eco people, ecologically conscious. And he told them, but you are for Hitler. You know what answer he got? He told me, one of the most terrifying answers that I got. No, we criticize Hitler because Hitler did some good things, like getting rid of the Jews, but also he developed car industry, he built highways and so on, which was horrible. You know, this most obscene version. So this is what always surprised me, that even now, the right wing neo-Nazi parties are much stronger in ex-East Germany than in the West. This is what, again, really makes me a pessimist. That what you described as something going on among the Israeli youth is also going on among the Palestinians, up to a point even in the United States. Look, all of these Proud Boys and so on and so on. And what really makes me afraid is that liberal democracy, the way we knew it, is coming to an end. Let's for a moment forget about West Bank, Israel. Let's move to the United States. I think United States, it's really in danger, on the edge of the civil war. I forget his name because he's a disgusting nobody. Who is now the new House Speaker?
Oh, yeah. It's not McCarthy, is it? It's
the new one.
Yeah, but he's like the Trumpist.
Yeah, but the ultra Trumpist.
Yeah.
If you Trump is I'll tell you. Yeah. I'll tell you after people
you
like
disgusting nobody cuck bastard. I like it. That works.
Like him and DeSantis, we will even have, I predict, a nostalgia for Trump, because Trump was very careful, not to pass a certain limit, because this guy openly advocates violating the Constitution, problematizing democracy. People notice very nicely that he never refers to the United States as democracy. He always uses the term republic. Republic in this Christian fundamentalist sense, and so on and so on. So I don't have a good counterpoint to you. My counterpoint is much more sad, is that the whole world is moving in this direction.
Why is Tim Pool calling me out on Twitter? What did I do? Why is Tim Pool calling out me, Lonerbox, on Twitter? Why? Why is he? Why is he popping off at your humble streamer? Okay. Get it? Good one. Good one, Loaderbox. Hey.
Look at the catastrophe barely avoided, if it is avoided. Remember a couple of weeks ago, the first round of the presidential elections in Argentina, where I prefer to erase the names of really bad people, some right-wing liberal populist.
Yeah.
Again, he went to the end, a nightmare. And I always use this when people ask me about freedom. Since I also published by Bloomsbury a book on freedom, and I try not to relativize the term of freedom, but to see many dimensions contradictory. he radicalizes this guy, something with M, the notion of freedom. Did you read? I couldn't believe my eyes. When I read it, I had, I like this scene from old cartoons, Tom and Jerry. When you see something, and your eyes jump out and turn in the air. You know what he advocates? He said this is a new freedom to solve people from poverty, to give to poor people the right to sell their organs and their children. Sorry, this is liberal capitalism today. And so that's the cause of my pessimism. Yesterday, at a debate on that strange place, I liked it, Royal Institute, somebody attacked me along these lines with a very good question, no? Somebody told me, but your message is, we are fucked up, no trouble. But you, in any case, you are old, you will soon die, so you don't care. What would the majority of young people here? Shouldn't you give them some hope? And my counterpoint was that his question is very ambiguous. Does he mean that it's true that we are fucked up, just out of respect for innocent young people, we should give them some hope? I totally oppose this. This means patronizing them. Or does he mean
Look, me, I'm so tired.
there is hope?
God.
Your analysis is wrong. And I would like to believe that there is some hope. My motto is the one from old Frankfurt School. Max Horkheimer says this, apropos of Nazism, that our stance today should be pessimism in theory, optimism in practice. And I try to follow it. I'm generally a pessimist, but whenever there is a chance, whatever to do, I was engaged against Putin for Pussy Riot and so on. I'm in contact with, this may surprise you, with some guerrilla group in Philippines and so on. Wherever, I quite liked Jean-Bertrand Aristide in Haiti. He was dirtily manipulated by the United States. He was not a crazy Castro-like utopian. He was very modest, honest, but it was too much. So for a long time, I supported Syriza, and I still am not sure, my reproach to them is, again, moderately conservative, because they complained how the European Union treated them. But what did they expect? Like, I think that absolutely use in India, there I'm for Muslims engaged in things against the horror that Modi is doing now. Modi is playing the same game as Trump and the new right. Some people protested.
I need to look into Modi, because what I hear about him is just that it's just like one of those systems that is really, 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 really bad and doesn't really get that much attention. Like, it doesn't get the attention that's proportionate to how bad it is, but that's what I've heard anyway. Should probably have a look at it.
Non-Hindus, that they don't feel safe. You know what was Modi's answer? Public. Modi's answer was, yeah, and it's good so that you will know that you are the threat of the nation and so on. It's literal falling apart of this basic safety of the public order. Now, in my old age, this may sound horrible to you, but the right is today the one which is more and more populist, violent, and so on. And I think, now I will say something shocking to you. It's an old story, but maybe, I hope you are not an idiot, not to you, but for others, maybe the left should begin to use the term moral majority. Look, many people, I don't think they were most anti-Semites, who demonstrated here hundreds of thousands, and there are for Palestine. And there are probably many more who are afraid to. My friends, Israeli friends, are now arrested in Israel and so on. We should address them. We should maybe drop this violence, public violence speech. And no, my image of the United States is this one, with a little bit of irony, but I think it's true. Look, my old story, when on the 6th of January, the Trump mob occupied the Congress, my leftist friends were crying. We should have been doing it. This is our. I told them, no, sorry, you live in the wrong time. Today, the rules of the game have changed. If we mean by postmodernism, this cynical relativism, flirting with violence, blah, blah, then if there ever was a postmodern president, historicist, relativist, it's Donald Trump. And let's face it, if there ever was a person who embodies at its best this moral majority, simple in a progressive sense, let's say conservative in the sense of there should be basic decency, attitude is not Bernie Sanders. I think we should not leave all these voters to the new right. I didn't meet Sanders himself, but I spoke with his ghostwriters, with some people around him who told me Bernie knows this. Bernie said when there were elections, Trump versus Hillary, he said something ingenious. He said, don't worry about, because Democrats under Hillary fell into this trap. They worried about the middle. Will we, if we come too radical, alienate the undecided middle classes? Bernie said, no, we should aim at Trump's voters. Many of them are disillusioned, poor whites, and so on. They should be our target. That would be, if you ask me, my politics today.
Just finally, because time is short and you have to go, I'd also like to talk to you briefly about culture and about, well, some of the biggest cinematic releases that we've had this year. You've written already an essay comparing Barbie and Oppenheimer, and I wonder...
Now you really want to push me into suicide, public suicide. They must be interesting movies, because I haven't seen them.
Of course, yeah.
No. I just like to read reviews.
And then react.
And then react, Okay, I'll qualify it a little bit. I was tempted to see Barbie.
Yeah.
Because I quite liked her earlier movies by Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
She's serious. She did some good things. As for Christopher Nolan, I'm ambiguous there.
Why?
I liked which was his last Batman? The one where
Dark Knight
basically...
Rises, yeah, with...
No, what I liked is the idea, although he's against it, that Manhattan becomes the People's Republic, leftist terror. And he shows his cards there, that he is a reformist. But nonetheless, the topics was so daring that, the guy played by Tom Hardy,
Bane.
the brutal terrorist, no Batman, he's there the opponent.
Bane,
yeah. But isn't he the only passionate, sympathetic image in the movie? He really loves that woman and sacrifices his life for her. So as for Oppenheimer, I will repeat what I said yesterday, something that horrifies many of my friends. I saw the movie later, not when I wrote the text. You know which part I liked, surprisingly? The political part. All that...
The committee. In the committee. And
committee, how they manipulate Oppenheimer and these double games and so on, how he is in advance sacrificed. What I hate is Bhagavad Gita. Because I mentioned this yesterday, read History of SS. Heinrich Himmler, the most disgusting guy. He always carried in his pocket a special leather-bound version of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because he was aware, Himmler, he was well aware that as a SS officer, you have to do horrible things, killing helpless, starved Jews. And his problem was an ethical...
I think Himmler went to the point where he would give quotas to these... He would give quotas to these fucking guards in different camps, telling them how many lashes they were allowed to give to prisoners who were being, punished or tortured or just arbitrarily punished. He would just say, oh, you can do, 7 lashes. Like, what a strange fucking role to give yourself. I'm sure you could have found someone else to do that, right? But you're a very hands-on kind of guy.
One. Ironic as this may sound, how can you do it without losing your dignity? And his answer was Bhagavad Gita. You know, this idea of don't be identified with your acts, learn to act at a distance, and so on. So I don't like that reference to Bhagavad Gita. So you remember the first sex scene?
How could I forget?
Heimer with Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
The communist mistress, not yet the wife, and she asks him or whom, I don't know, to read Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. And you remember there was an outcry in India?
Yes.
I agree with them, but in the opposite sense. Why? Yes, I'm against that, because how could they spoil a beautiful sex act with a porno dirty book like Bhagavad Gita?
Jesus Christ.
And I mean, I'm not alone here. I'm not alone here with all my Indian friends.
Sure.
We agree, what I already mentioned. The greatest tragedy in India was that around
this guy is he's just so interesting. There's always something new you're gonna pick up from these talks.
Year 0 in our Christian era, you know, all of a sudden, Hinduism made a successful return, and Buddhism disappeared, and many of my Indian friends, even radical leftists, respect much more than Gandhi Ambedkar, who was the great anti-caste liberal. Gandhi was never against castes. He just said each caste has its own dignity. They're all children of God. It's the same thing as fascists are saying. Working class also has its proper place and dignity, and so on and so on. So in this sense, I must say, I enjoyed the movie, but I didn't like this pseudo-metaphysical background. Forget about that.
Slavoj Zizek, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I'm grateful to you, and I'm very sorry, concluding joke, if you're still on, that you are not active enough, because, you know, when people ask me about dialogue, I'm violent. You know what's my standard answer? I like dialogues, but like late Plato's dialogues, where one guy talks all the time, and the other...
yeah. This is when Plato was just like, the person just responds, you're right, wow, you're right, yeah, okay.
The guy just says every 10 minutes by Zeus, so it is Socrates, and so on. I like my favorite part of our speech today, dialogue, is that once I did provoke you into striking back a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
You should maybe, even if we will have another opportunity, let's put it in this way. I cannot avoid obscenities, no?
Yeah, of course.
I would like to, we go on well. Let's consider this an intellectual, not sexual, quickie. Yeah. And let's do another one more, you know.
Like
more
the Kama Sutra, yeah.
Sorry?
We'll do a Kama Sutra version, yeah. Long form, yeah.
But also, let's not go into it, because with Kama Sutra I also have problems, you know. It's for me the ultimate book that ruins sexuality.
Slavoj, thank you so much.
I'm really grateful to you, because I was told you were a nice surprise for me, because I mobilized my small private KGB spy service. And they were saying, oh, he makes jokes. No, you are not an idiot. Although you make jokes and so on, you have a mind, you know.
Thank you.
Very nice.
That's high praise.
Thank you very much.
That's high praise, mate.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Happy, guys?
Finito.
Bloody
now,
hell.
fuck you up yours from the side or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
What a funny guy, man. Today, I need to get him on the show. I need to get him on stream and just get like a really good set of questions. I feel like I would need to give him 4 questions, and that would take up like an hour, right? He would probably come on if I can get like if I do the waiting room, if I do the fucking waiting room script, and then we, if I do the waiting room scam, we can get like 1,000 viewers for like at least a couple of days in a row, and then just be like, hey, get in here. Get a series of combative call-ins. Yeah, get my chat to fight him. Yes. I would totally fanboy out getting Ilan Pape. Yeah, I need to read his fucking book. I can't be fucked. It's just, I prefer reading papers on it. It is, yeah, shit. I'm preferring reading articles on it, like JSTOR stuff, like journals, but... Oh, I need to get to that, which book you're reading? Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine. I need to look at more stuff on this. Just like, I want to pick out just like some random articles from the Journal of Palestine Studies, because apparently this is really good. Maybe the titles will just grab me. Yeah, maybe. Destiny hates Pape without reading him nowadays. It gets very difficult to feel interested in a writer when you find out that they've lied about something in the past, or like if they've fabricated a quote or something like that, which Pape did kind of do when he didn't really need to. And it's like, okay, what else are you telling me that yeah. Journal of Palestine Studies slaps pretty hard. Yeah, it slaps. That's exactly what it does. Okay, I think I might have a debate panel tonight. What did he lie about? The quote where Ben Gurion says, "The Arabs will have to go. We have to wait for the opportune moment," which is a war. That quote there is like kind of fabricated. So, but you can still read him. Like he's still like a big name, and he is still the one who will give you the whole perspective that it's like a settler colonial fucking project and shit. Yeah. I feel like you can make the ethnic cleansing argument without his work quite easily, but who knows? You're debating quibble. How do you know that, weaponized discourse? I never said nothing. What? When you're doing a video, what's your starting point to find sources? Depends on the topic. If I know that a book exists, quibbles will colonize your channel. If I know a book exists, maybe the wiki if I have no idea where to start, or look up just Google it and see if there's anything on JSTOR. Yeah, I don't know. Did you see his response video? Actually, no, I didn't. Maybe I should watch it in prep. Maybe. I think I'm probably gonna come off stream early today, and I'm gonna come back in like just under 2 hours. Because what's Eastern time? Eastern time is it's 2 hours, an hour. Yeah, an hour and 45. Yeah, I'll come back in an hour and a half for this debate. But I'll just end the stream and come back in. You like quibbles? He is. Thanks, weaponized Discord. Yeah, I saw it. I was looking at it, but I couldn't be fucked watching it because he was such a small channel. I didn't really want to be mean or anything. Ugh. But thank you. Ugh. Who is the debate? I don't know. It's just got set up really quickly, so I'll see what's happening. But I need to get some food. So, yeah. I'll be back in a wee bit, okay? I'll maybe send you guys out. I'll send you guys off. Hang on. Give you a little send off. To this channel, probably. Okay. What's it about? It's about Israel and Palestine, not the Borg. That's what it's about. It's about this issue that's been in the news recently. Would you believe it? I think I might be on a...
Don't reach out.
I think I might have Destiny on my side. But yeah, all right. Fucking go on. Get in.